evening, everybody, and welcome back to Low Fuel Motorsport. My name is Olaf, aka Wops Racing, and I'll be your commentator for tonight as we have our brand new week ahead of us for the PTT Porsche Carrera Cup and also the Pro Series. We're heading on to two different tracks. One of those is Zandvoort. That's the cars that you can not hear in the background just yet, but you will hear in just a moment's time. And of course Silverstone for the Pro Series that we'll have after the Porsche Carrera Cup race. It's 12-minute qualifying where the drivers have already started. We'll go into them in just a moment. 30 minutes of a race followed by, of course, the Pro Series. 20 minutes of qualifying with a 20-minute race followed by a 40-minute one-stop race. Now, if we look at the results from last week out, we should have something like this at the Circuit de Catalunya. Carrera taking the victory in position number 1, Michael Fry in second, and Max Florenz finishing up the podium. And then a whole lot of German drivers in our top 15, all making a scene here in the Spanish track, but also Rancaño in P7, the Spanish man in his home track, doing a pretty good job of gaining 4 positions and finishing inside of that top 10. So 29 cars doing their rounds and having finished on this event. And then, of course, we have to take a look at the standings because the standings are so close. A little bit further back, that is, because Carrera currently with 6,920 points, standing pretty tall with 880 point lead over Kren in second place and Giroud in third place. So the big gap from first to second. After that, it gets pretty tight with about 150 to 200 points, basically all throughout the top 10. So we're doing good on the competition. Weeks counted. 4 is for the drivers that have missed 1 week already, and 4 races is the same as the 4 weeks. It's only 1 race every single week. That will change though if we head into the Pro Series, where we have 2 races, of course, because there we have to look at the double. For now though, the PTT Racing Porsche Carrera Cup is going to extend its series to week number 6 here at Zandvoort. Currently looking at the drivers that have participated in 1 race, and that's probably where we should cut it to the live section of this race, of this weekend. And here we have our championship leader, Grant Ascaracas, currently 3 victories to his belt. More than 3. If we count both series, because in the Pro Cup, in the Pro Series, he has also the lead. And mind this, last week out, Carrera took 3 out of 3 races to the victory. That's an absolutely crazy statement. Currently dominating qualifying, 3.5 tenths away from Santama, who has 2 wins to his name, and that's all 5 of them. That's all the 5 weeks wins combined to Carrera and Santama, currently in P1 and P2. Fry is the first closest with a 6/10 deficit to Carrera, currently the car out in first, who is down this time, so we'll be looking at different cars as we go through. Wiedbeck currently in 10th position, the number 18 car, having a good improvement. More importantly though, Shins through the final few turns with a very big improvement, as it stands 2 seconds down on Carrera, will need an improvement to go anywhere within that top 10. Currently in 11th place, the number 20 car goes across the line with a 7/10 improvement so far and goes up to 7th place. The Shins making his way into that top 10. So we're approaching the halfway mark of the qualifying. We see more and more cars go into the pit lane, trying to get their second set of tires on, make sure that they can get their qualifying underway quite properly. So for this event, we're at my home track. Very happy to see Zandvoort be visible like this. One thing that was a little bit funny earlier on in production is that I was looking for the track to put on the screen while waiting. As you see Wiedbeck go on to 9th place. Before every single broadcast, we have a good little view of the track that is to come, and usually I put in the track for the first race that we do, and then within the waiting time in between the sessions I throw in the second track. So while looking through the tracks, Zandvoort wasn't there, and I realized that I had this issue before. So going back into the messages in the in the broadcasting channels. We found out that half a year ago we didn't have these videos either. So Stars of Age making a small mistake in the middle part of the track. Well, we have made a mistake in not loading up a Zandvoort video, but that means that you get to see it now for the first time in ACC. For this broadcast, we also get to see a little preview of what is to come, and that is Silverstone with a 60 minutes of total racing. It's just about an hour of scrapping, just over if you count the extra lap that the drivers will most likely do. Lap times will be just under 2 minutes, which means that in that 20-minute race they'll be able to complete 11 laps. In the 40-minute race they'll be able to complete a bit more than 20 laps, hopefully, if they're able to make up for their pit stop times. Stars of Age does make it up to P13. After that mistake, wanted to follow him real quickly towards the line. So he does have a small moment in that middle part of the sector as Lenz is now on his way to catch a little bit of a slipstream there from the car ahead as he goes from 11th place up to 7th, putting Shins down to 8th place. More improvements up and down the grid. Currently Sepponen in 22nd. Not part of the top 10. Has shown drives to be part of that top 10. Perfectly capable of improving on this 139 that currently has to his name from 23rd as he goes up to 18th. So that's some time to be gained still. 4 minutes left, so the drivers have some time. Kren currently second in the standings, yet to win a race. Will today be the day that he claims the first victory of this series, of this season? Well, the series in this season. I'm not sure if he's done any other series or if he's grabbed any victories there. 5th place is what he was. 4th place is where he'll jump to. So that is still some ways off, though, of what he probably wanted to do. As everyone's preparing for their laps, for their second runs. Santama undoubtedly looking for that pole position, trying to equalize the win count to Caracas, but he's about 1,300 points down on what Caracas is at the moment. Which is a big thing to gain there for Santama. Number 2 car currently in second with the number 1 car in first. The gaps are closing in. Currently the top 7 within a second. And the top 15 within 2 seconds. Caracas throwing in a faster lap time, completely disrupting anything I said just now with a 136.6. Not too big of an improvement, but it is still one nonetheless. I should probably take out the manufacturer from the timing tower. We don't need to see that anyway. They're all Porsches from the looks of the series. 4 tenths now is the advantage that Caracas has over Santama. Fry has gone back to the pits. We'll get on a new set of tires for this last lap. Santama not looking too fantastic. But that might just be because my telemetry is doing funky things. That happens every now and then. And I can't see the delta properly. We'll have to wait and see until he crosses the line. It looks like to me that he's not on a lap, but he should be. 2 minutes left, meaning you can do 2 more laps if the tires hold on. Currently 21 degrees on the track, 24 degrees in the air, and that is quite warm. Track conditions are optimum, and Santama crosses the line, and that is an improvement at 36.97. Not too fantastic of an improvement, but it is a little bit of a step forward anyway. Giraud now moving down the start-finish straight. Big improvement from 14th. He's going to jump all the way up to 7th place. There he is at 137.6. That's a very, very big improvement. The number 3 car slotting in inside of that top 10 as well. Rainman has now gone up to 10th place as Giraud is in 7th. Looking further back, Reese is going to be jumping 1 position because Starcevic is just ahead. It's a small improvement, but a step from 19th to 15th. Going to be very happy with that one. Fit now in 16th place. Closing out his lap. Will be right ahead of Wasner from the looks of it. Right there. The number 5 car currently in 8th. Wants to jump higher up into that top 10. Fit wants to join in too. Currently 16th, goes up to 15th, but Wasner gaining 2 spots and now up to 6th. It's going to be a tight battle. Gerard is going for another lap, so has Santama. Santama, the number 2 car, currently in the final corner of the track. Going to be jumping on board with him in just a moment. We'll see where Gerard ends his lap, and then we can run on board with 1 full lap of Abe Santama. Caracas is on his way, just a little bit further back on the track, and trying to make his pole position a little bit bigger. Santama is now approaching sector 2. Gerard trying to get a slipstream as much as he can, and that might have put him a little bit in a deficit, but that is still 1 small improvement, and up to 7th place for the checkered flag. For Gerard, his qualifying will be solidified, so will the lap of Fry and Kren as well in 3rd and 4th. Santama not contested by those 2. Still has some threat from behind from Wasner, who is on quite a good lap. But so is Santama. Caracas isn't. Went across the line to get a fastest lap, and now has the checkered flag in front of him. A 1:36.5 is the time to beat. Santama fighting the wheel through the middle part of this track. Quite windy. Basically only 1 big braking zone to go, and then a softer braking zone into the final right-handers. This is where he can gain the time. Currently 1/10 of an advantage. This is where it needs to happen in the arena. Right-hander with a lot of bumps. Good exit, slide oversteer there, loose hands. That always works for these drivers. Final 2 turns, taking all the curb and on the exit. Will it be enough though? Find out as he crosses the line. Everyone behind him solidified. Santama going across the line. A 36.9 is what he has, and a 36.7 is what it becomes. And he'll still stick behind Caracas in 2nd place. So that means that your qualifying winner is Grantas Caracas with a B1 to his name. 1 more to add to the list. Just quickly noting down the name so I don't forget later on in the race. So we will be looking at the drivers in their order. Caracas in 1st. Santama has 2nd place. Fry in 3rd. Kren in 4th. And Florence in 5th place. That's the grid for this race. 1.5 minutes for the starting grid. We'll wait just a moment. See if we can get our grid going. Should have it already. Grantas Caracas, that is not his qualifying time, and that means that we will not be going to the grid just yet. We'll have to wait in just a moment. Qualifying time showed a 1:21, but that is of course not from today. That should be from a different race. So we'll have to wait for that one. It always takes a little bit of time to update. So we can head on to the grid walk. The track isn't too long, but it's not too short either. It's quite beautiful. Not biased at all. Just sad that the final corner is a little bit more flat in this version. Because in real life, of course, you have the banked corner, the final corner that I'm always looking forward to in the Formula 1 series when watching. Always a good sight. We are looking here at Caracas, who's waiting to get going. Let's see if we have our grid walk ready now. Shouldn't be too long. It will be too long because it's still not ready. That means we're waiting, and while we're waiting, we can basically go through the grid ourselves. We saw, of course, Caracas. Great qualifying to put it on pole position. Good improvement towards the final laps, of course. Track evolution playing a part of that quite well. Santama able to improve in those final laps, but not enough. About 4.5 tenths behind Caracas. Then Fry, Kren, and Florence. Wasner not able to improve either. Stuck in 6th. Giraud right behind in 7th. Not a perfect qualifying for him either. It's currently looking like a good fight here in the top 10. One more try for our grid walk. See if it works or not. It will not work. And I assume that it won't work the entire time. That means that we'll just have to roll with it as it is. You can see the standings on the left-hand side of your screen. 40 cars currently on the grid. That is about 10 more than finished last week out. That's going to give us some good runs. Optimal track condition. 24 degrees Celsius in the air. 31 degrees Celsius in the track. And the drivers to watch, of course, out in front. Grantas Caracas, of course, a very well-known driver in the LFM community. Done a lot of the Pro Series of the past seasons. Has gained a lot of traction, a lot of wins with said traction. Now running in the Porsche Carrera Cup, doing a good job here as well, taking the lead. And this season he's been dominating both sides of the competitions on the Thursdays. He's got 880 points lead over Santama in 2nd place. And then, of course, in the Pro Series, close on the heels. Followed is Delfante, 329 points. And behind them, Castorino with 724 points. So there's a big gap to 2nd and 3rd. There's a big gap to 1st and 2nd. But here we are, lining up for the race. Caracas on the inside. Closely followed by Santama. Caracas will have the inside line for turn number 1, which will give him a small advantage. But every driver knows the race is longer than just turn number 1. 30 minutes on the clock. And 30 minutes is the race. The red car of Grantas Caracas, followed by the silver from Abe Santama. Michael Fry on the inside, right behind the light blue car. Florence in the black car. Then we have Leon Kran and Sasha Wasner in order. The white and red cars followed in the top 6. And they're all fighting for the win. For Grantas Caracas to take it away at the green flag. As we're rolling down the straight, and green, green, green. Caracas with a good start tries to cover off the outside, where Santama is still slightly alongside. He can't go any further, doesn't go any further. And Fry is completely clear of Kren and tries to shoot it up alongside of Santama, who's been pushed a long way around. Caracas completely clear, and the inside line being taken by Fry. Small tap to Santama, now drops further back. He's trying to be into the hands, keep out of the hands of Kren. Florence and Wasner are also as is in 5th and 6th. And it's looking like a good start from Grantas Caracas, who takes away the lead. And Michael Fry jumps up to 2nd place. It's a good start. And further back, we have a car sideways. That appears to be Garcia. The number 25 car spun in Sector 1. I think everyone else got through quite cleanly. Should be all good as Fry is on the attack. Caracas has to defend from the Porsche behind. They're all Porsches, but I'll still call it a Porsche from behind. Michael Fry in that 2nd place. Had a good start, good run on Santama, who was pushed towards the outside. The inside all the way open for Fry to take whatever he wanted. And Kren almost close to taking that spot as well. There's a good small gap now between these 3 drivers. And here we have a small line as well behind Sasha Wasner to Giraud, the green car that we just saw across the corner. The top 6 is lining up. There we have him, just in the bottom of the screen. And there he is back again. Small smidges of green every single time towards the ending of the shots. There we have him again, just the nose, just the fender. Caracas puts in the first lap time of today. Fry just a bit too far away to do anything substantial. So not looking too hot in that department just yet. Hoffman in 13th. Currently has Shins right behind him. Difficult track to overtake. I'll give him that. And Fry taking opportunistic steps to do that on lap number 1. Of course, we'll know that it's very difficult to overtake. So has his has his words all ready to give to Caracas and say, maybe if there's one opportunity, I will take it, because there's no way in hell you're going to pass me again. As Shins thinks differently. He knows that there's a spot there. He's looking there, a little bit cheeky on the inside mirror of Mario Hoffman, who has to be defensive in the next few corners. There's one big braking zone in this track. It's turn number 1, and there's the other one in sector number 3. Within this middle part, in the dunes, there's really very little that you can do. If you make a mistake, that of course can be something for someone behind to pick up, but other than that, I think you're pretty set if you have a similar pace. You got to be outpaced by at least a few tenths per sector if you want to get an overtake done. If you want to be overtaken here, and Hoffman holding on to 13th, has increased the gap behind a tiny bit. There were some overtakes though, a little bit further back. Starzovic in 19th, fighting with some cars behind. We see Biggers in 18th, up 8 places from where he started. That's a good job. Starzovic was the one being overtaken there. Currently 3.5 seconds is the gap to Seppunen ahead, so he'll be stuck with that in just a moment. Checking in with the top guys once again. Caracas has a small gap behind. Fry looking like he can't completely match the pace of the number 1 ahead. That means that Santama is going to have Fry in his clutches, and somewhere along the line he should be able to get an overtake done soon. If you look a little bit further back, we see Florenz. And Florenz is looking quite feisty. Has got Kren in his sights. The black and gold car, the number 8, slightly ahead of him. The Wasner will be chasing him down as well. The teammates currently circling the middle part of the lap. And they are looking to chase down Kren and trying to maybe even get a podium spot, with Kren falling behind Santama. See that big gap there. Florenz now looking ahead, and I am wondering though, because this is Florenz. Now we have Kren ahead, and there is a car in the middle. I'm trying to see if I can spot who that is. That is Zoan Fit. And Fit, from the looks of it, is currently in P39. Must be part of that incident, but he is currently a lapped car. So that means that the blue flag will be woven for him, and that explains the gap to Kren. 2 seconds to Santama. Fit now making space for the cars behind, knows that this is a race going on. Really wants to drive his own race as well. Is now blocking Florenz a tiny bit. It's looking like make space now. And that gives Florenz and Wasner room to cut back in, but they have lost about half a second to Kren, so that is not something that you want to see, of course. Of course, like I said, very difficult to overtake. It's also very difficult to leave drivers by, especially if it's a terrain. You have very few spots to do so. Turn 1, very nice opportunity. And then, of course, in turn 4, the bowl. A good spot to go a little bit wider than everyone else. Tighter line for Santama here. Final corner of Sector 2. He's looking to gain some time on Fry, who has dropped further and further back. Caracas, who seems to be dominating this race. The last lap, 36.7 with a 37.6 and 37.4 from these two, respectively. Fry being the car ahead still. And I am wondering what the strategy is for this one, for Caracas. If he just tries to get clear as fast as possible. We know the strategy from Fry, get the position as soon as he can and then try to go for the defensive. Doesn't send a move just yet. Maybe knowing that Santama can't send it anywhere, does go defensively. Or does not go defensively. He stays on his line. Small hiccup on the exit there. As the gap ahead increases and increases. Has to go defensive some point during this race. Will probably be in the middle part of the track. As we have another car go slow. That is that's Jaffo in 40th place. Also car stationary from the looks of it. The number 36 of Sjöblom, currently in 36th place, is going again in the Final part of the track. We got some fights here in the middle. Slade in the pink car ahead, purple car for Was, and then Ayas in the gray car, followed by Engel quite closely as well. And there is another car stationary. That's Grosse in the orange car, parked to the side. Doesn't look too fantastic and has gone back to the pits. So we can continue to enjoy this fight. Middle part of the track looking quite nice as well. It's a bit wide there for Was, who takes another wide turn here in sector 2. The left-hander proving difficult for some drivers. The inside being looked at already, and Ayas being very, very little bit of aggro. Does leave the gap ahead a tiny bit more open, but that does mean that he's got company from behind that he can't just let by. Was now on the look as well. The Slade having to work his way around. Small lift here on the right hand corner. That's what I'm talking about. Corner not being tilted, not having that camber. Gives them less opportunities to go full speed. Slade now throwing up a defensive move as Engel does get past a little bit further behind. There we have him. Black car zooming on by. And does look like Ayas has dropped back a little bit further. The number 35 car dropping further and further back. Not visible from where we're looking right now. But was following closely up 6 places from where he started. It's a good, always a good run. Let's go a little bit wide here in the right-hander through the dunes. We'll have to be cautious, as Engel has already gotten one. We'll be looking for one more. We'll have to wait though, as it doesn't look like Was is letting up anytime soon. And speaking of not letting up soon, Starcevic up 3 spots, wants to make it 4, as Biggers currently in 17th place. He's got a 7-second gap ahead of him, which means that he doesn't have any slipstream to take from anyone else. Randstrom in 19th, very close behind as well. And Hodup is in this fight too. Torgerson is in a fight as well. He's just gotten the place from Lesnoy, now 21st. In the order, but we have to look ahead. Starcevic has got a visitor, and that's Radstrom. The car looked a little bit damaged on the nose, and the inside line being sent by Radstrom all the way open from Starcevic. And now Hodup is close as well, trying to follow through, but the space just not there. Disappearing as the number 17 car is disappearing from side number 30 car, closing in the gap. Biggest now, and the number 27 car just on the right hand side of the screen. We'll have to be careful as Shins is going slowly middle part. Reese has gone through, and Sepponen following closely behind. That's the white car that we're looking at right now. And Shins in the yellow number 20 car in the middle of the pack. Biggest now lost the place to Randstrom, who will now be in the clutches of Starcevic, who has something to say about it in the very least. See the lighter colored Porsche now all over the place, looking on the inside, making himself big in the mirrors. So we are approaching the halfway mark of the race, but that car from Radstrom is looking damaged. The car from Biggest is looking damaged. From the looks of it, maybe even in the same contact as Radstrom's car is damaged on the front. We saw the diffuser from Biggest being damaged as well, so they might have been in some sort of contact with the two of them. A bit further up, we still don't have a fight for P1, but our fight for P2 still continues. Santama closing in, and that's a big slide from Biggest. He's going to lose a lot of top speed here. Starcevic now has to hold on. We'll try and look out towards the inside, trying to not give a slipstream to Hodup. And there's a big fight here going on. Hodup now has the outside. Starcevic will be holding on to the apex line, and that's usually the faster one, because if you look at Torgerson behind, he is completely side by side with Hodup now for turn number 3, and does take the place. Torgerson up to 20th, and Hodup down one more. Suddenly we get jump scared here by Santama, who's got Fry right in his face. Should be able to just reach out the window and tap the rear wing with his windshield wipers. Getting real close here between the number 2 and the number 3 on track as it stands. Maybe we can catch a glimpse from Caracas. There he is in the background and already gone through the corner. So Caracas extending his lead. Doing a good job with that. 4.5 seconds is the gap. Now we can see everyone in the top 10 staying the same. Radstorm up 11 places. He's on a storm. Has 8 seconds ahead of him. So that's a big gap to bridge. And Santama just following behind might leave it towards the latter half of the race. Currently looking at Starcevic, is trying to take a spot away from Biggis. And Torgerson with the yellow rims, eager to take one as well. A bit wide for Biggis in this earlier part of the corner. Leaves himself vulnerable, but not enough, as Starcevic is the one who's got a visitor. It's Torgerson towards the inside, where we have seen be the more advantageous line if you can get your car in there. Starcevic enough speed to stay ahead throughout that first turn. So we'll hold on to his place. But there's a lot of cars behind that want that spot back. Torgerson in with the yellow rims and the white and green car from Hodap. Got Lesnoy in his mirrors as well. So it's 5 cars currently fighting for P18. And if you're wondering, but Olaf, it's only P18. That's still a lot of points in these series. Of course, P1 gets the most points. That's what everyone is looking for. But every position downwards gained quite a big amount of points as well. So if one of these drivers is not present in one race, or in more than one race, I should say, building quite a big lead already if you do make that victory. But the gaps in between are still quite doable. So losing one spot is not the end of the world. It might make you think differently about your lines throughout the next race. Hold up and Lesnoy now. Very close. That's for P21. Currently looking at Starcevic in 19th. Torgerson a little bit more towards the inside. Trying to have a look somewhere. Lesnoy the same. As we see Hold Up go through turn number 1 unscathed. A bit further up. Fight back again. Not for the podium spots, but for P4 this time. Leon Kren currently in 4th. Second in the standings has got Florence right behind him. Threat for the championship is for Giraud, behind is for Bucher, currently behind as well. 7th and 8th respectively. So Florence a bit further back in 7th place. Not too worried just yet, but then again, we are currently in week number 6, halfway through the season, and it might still be possible for any one of these drivers to make a slight mistake, drop down the order, and lose a bunch of points in any of the future races halfway through the season. The standings are looking spicy. The only thing that's not looking spicy is Caracas currently dominating the field and dominating the race. 5.5 seconds ahead of Fry, who's holding on for dear life, because Santama is attacking relentlessly. Currently within half a second, has been for the past, I think the past 70 minutes. I think I'm free to call that. As we are shifting our focus. One fight back. Wasner 3 seconds behind Florence. We thought these two were able to follow each other, Florence and Wasner. Currently the gap about 3 seconds. And Giraud on the offense. Not many swaps happening at the moment. Of course, it's a track. It's very difficult to overtake at. There are some overtakes though, a little bit further back in the grid. Currently looking at Slade in the pink car with Garcia in the number 25, currently one position behind. This is in turn number 4, the first sector of the track. We saw Garcia spin out a bit earlier on, currently in 31st, so still holding on to some good points, trying to make it P30. Slade still in that position. So there have been some good swaps back in the middle of the pack. We're currently looking at we're looking at Torgerson, who's making his way through the lap as well. Quite close to Sarcevic. The car is almost identical. Mind you, the bright yellow rims are from Torgerson. The gap is quite small, so we might just have a good send opportunity down in turn 1. Starcevic still has that slipstream from Biggest ahead, who has just gone wide every single time through this corner. That's a good run. Torgerson absolutely on it, will want that inside line. Starcevic not giving any bit of that inside, almost shoving Torgerson into the wall, breaking a little bit deeper, trying to get the run back on him before turn 2. And before turn 3, but that doesn't happen. Torgerson has to stay behind. That was a good try. Starcevic knows that the inside is so strong. If Torgerson was there, he would have been able to send in a dive. And that would have been race over for Starcevic. At least for P19 over. Because he still has a chance to take down Biggest, just one position ahead. But from the looks of it, Torgerson has the pace. He's just not willing to, he's not able to overtake Biggest ahead. There's still Sarcevic sliding all over the place. There's a car stationary currently. It's number 40 once again. Car from Javeux. 39th place, stationary in that final corner of the track. Torgerson lifting off a tiny bit. Now right behind Starcevic. Looking ahead, a bit too far away now. A little bit further than last time around. That will not be a run into turn 1. Oh, there's the car. Neon yellow in that final corner, sideways. Hasn't returned to the pits yet. This might be a little bit of a danger. Torgerson once again looking, but not getting there. That fight's going to go on for a few more laps, I assume. And the fight that has been going on is Florenz on the inside of Kren, having a small look, not sending it. They are sliding, so they must be having some tire issues towards the end of this race. Kren now not too quick either. 5 seconds to Santama in 3rd place. Has got that podium spot at least. Because even with a mistake, I don't think Santama will be falling into the clutches of Florenz. 9 minutes remaining in this race. A third to go. And that is pressure for Santama. Because it will be right behind Fry. But will it be close enough? That is the question. Santama here, looking at the rear of the number 6. Still holding on to that second spot on the grid. It does look like it's very difficult. It's very difficult for Bucher as well. Rancagno is trying to take away that spot for 8th. And is that wide for Caracas? Might be a little bit, but that is the number 40 car once again driving but slowly through the first part to the middle part of the track. It must have been Caracas just lifting off, trying to avoid the car behind. Rancagno being flagged for a contact. Unsure if that is anything of value. We'll have a small look though, because that is with the number 11 car. Should have a small replay moment here. Currently looking at Bucher and Rancagno. Will there be contact on the straight? Rancanho in the number 11 car. Be on the outside here for turn number 1. Once again, the inside being a little bit too strong. And we'll have... that's not contact, that's just a yellow flag. I thought that was contact and we'd be going straight to another replay. That is just a yellow flag. And that was for the number 40 car. So I was going to be very, very sad if the number 1 and the number 40 car were indeed involved in contact. But from the looks of it, it's all clean. And Carrera has got on through cleanly. Doesn't look like anything special. Meanwhile, Florenz and Kren have swapped places. That is with a small bit of contact. We'll be able to see here. Kren in the number 8, Florenz in the number 4. Kren currently ahead still. Washing out a little bit wide. Going back towards the inside. Wasner here trying to send a little bit of a tap to the rear of Kren, leaving the inside open, and that must have been the overtake for the position, as Florenz is now a tiny bit away from Kren, trying to unleash his full pace. Has already gained 8 tenths on the previous lap. Santama trying to do the same, but still has Michael Fry right ahead of him. That's the spot where Florenz got the position. A big slide there for Santama. Now it's company behind. That's a lapped car. I think that's the number 24. A little bit further behind. That is Barling, currently in 35th. What we're looking at here is final few laps of trying to survive and not slipping on those tires. I think that's going to be the main issue here. To see if we can get some interviews towards the end of this race or after this race, because I think I've got some questions here for Santama about his tires. And there it is. There's a big slide once more for Santama, and that is P2 slamming out of reach. In the background, Florenz still has sides here on that podium. Unsure if he can still get it. 5 minutes remaining, about 3 laps, depending on when Caracas crosses the line. I'm unsure if that's anything that that Florenz can be looking for. The gap to Kren behind already 2 seconds, showing that Florenz has the pace. And speaking of pace, Caracas has been going half a second to a second quicker than the field already. 15 laps down, 8 seconds to Fry. But Florenz on the previous lap, only 2 tenths slower than Caracas. Even though Fry has gone 6 tenths slower than Caracas. So that means that Florenz is almost a second quicker than Santama with that mistake, and 4 tenths quicker than Fry. So he is gaining. It's just that 7 seconds is quite a lot of time to gain in the final moments of a race. Rancanho in 9th. He's got a look on Bucher, who's making a mistake there as big slides are happening all over the field. The inside line still being held by the number 7 car, but it might be useful. I was going to say it's useless against the Rancanho's pace around the outside. The grip quite strong. Will be onto the braking zone in sector number 3. A side-by-side fight through the arena. Will that hold in the inside? Bucher backs out of it. Things better than to cause a collision in that turn, and that's a good overtake for Rancanho. Has to look out into turn 1 though. Bucher is right behind. Will catch that slipstream. Maybe a little bit of an arrow wash in this corner, but they're both sliding, and they're sliding hard. And these tires seem to be running out. Conditions quite warm. The track grueling. The inside look there for Bucher, trying to make himself known in the mirrors, trying to unsettle Rancanho's pace. As these two have swapped positions and seem to be staying, so Bucher not able to get anything back just now. Lenz looking to get into that top 10 as well. So Rainman has a hold of P10. But the green and black car not looking too stable here. So heading on to the dunes. So we see some more cars going slowly. That's Kiss in the number 21. Stationary in sector 3. Follow along on the minimap on the right hand side of your screen. We can see all the numbers. Those are car numbers that are going through. I know you're thinking, but Olaf, the number 1 car is in first. Yes, he is. That's Carrera who holds number 1 on the position, and also as a driver number is Lenz making a small mistake. Feedback trying to capitalize on it, but Lenz with good recovery will have his sights set on the defense before anything else. The Sepinen has made a small mistake, is slowing down a tiny bit, has caught himself back up again, and Torgerson now with Biggers on the inside. These final stages are getting chaotic. Number 27 car holding on for dear life, as Biggers and Radstrom are both in this fight. It's a 3-way now for P17. Quite isolated. That's a late defensive move from Biggers. Torgerson backing out of it. And Radstrom still leading these 3. Has had a good race so far, currently in 17th. Sort of a little bit further back. Biggers now has to make this corner work. Hasn't had the best line through it. See a little bit of a twitch in the car as well, as Torgerson is the one to look ahead, catch the slipstream, and there it is. Inside being defended by Biggers, who breaks a bit earlier. And Torgerson is the one to look for an overtake. He's going through different lines as well, but it doesn't look like there's anything he can do. One more lap after this one. And Scarcas is riding through that final turn. 30 minutes will be concluded with the number 1 car over the line in first place. Further back, anything still up for play. Kren in 5th has got Wasner right behind him. So Florence got the spot, and Wasner was about 3 seconds behind, and that's a small tap there for Torgerson. Contact with Biggers. Maybe wants to bump draft him ahead. We see the yellow incident, meaning that it's marked and looked at by the stewards. Probably gonna be nothing. It's better to look at it something once too many times. It's because it's got a big slide there in that middle part of the arena. Now Torgerson is able to take a good run out of the final turn. That's the wrong car that we're looking at. That's here. That's Biggers. Once again, that lift has to happen in this corner, because otherwise you get sent wide all the way to the inside, all ready to cover off that slipstream. And Torgerson smart to duck right into it instantly. And has to look for a way to pass Biggers. He's got 1 lap, 1 braking zone to go, and it is into the arena section that we're currently seeing Caracas go through. A dominant run through the qualifying, a dominant run throughout the race. 8.5 seconds, almost 9 seconds ahead of the competition. Grandes Caracas will win for another week in a row for the Porsche Carrera Cup from PTT Racing. Grandes Caracas, the number 1 in P1. Dominating qualifying, dominating the race. Fastest lap, led every lap. And we can call this one a grand slam, as Michael Fry comes in home in 2nd place, with Abe Santama fighting for his life right behind and still not able to get past. That's how difficult it is to overtake. Florence right behind as well. Kren, 2.5 seconds, has Wasner kept him behind him until the end. Giraud here in 7th place has kept Rancagno behind, who advanced from Burger in 9th. Couldn't get that 7th place. Rainman just joins in here for the 10th place. Lenz Wiedbeck then down to Hoffman. Shins, who's got Reese right behind him still. So going on to the start-finish range as well. Quite close between these two. But Reese having to settle for 15th. Shins gets that 13th spot. Sepinen now over the line in 16th. Torgerson has gotten past Biggers in the meantime. So Radstrom will take home 17th place as Torgerson gets 18th and Biggers down in 19th. Hodap still quite close in 20th. The final cars are crossing the line. All the way down to P30 Garcia. Everyone else has been lapped in the meantime. But your winner, Grandes Caracas, in P1 from pole to the win. A fantastic statement for today once more. See if we can get one of these drivers into the interview room. Let's see if we can. Because we are waiting, of course, for the Pro Series as well. Going to drop a countdown. If we can't get any interviews going, we should be able to do so. If not, we'll roll a 10-minute intro once again to go back to the Pro Series, and it doesn't look like anyone's trying to hang out in the commentators booth. So that means that we're running a 10-minute break, and then we're back with the Pro Series. Do we have the results already for us? And we do. This is the results screen from today's race. Carrera in first, Fry in second, Santama taking home that final podium spot. Small changes here in the top 15. It's only Fry, Florenz, Rancagno, Lenz, and Hoffman to take one spot. And then it becomes Carnage a little bit further and back. Reese taking home 15th, still there. And there we have it. Sepponen, 4 places up. Radstrom, 11 places up. Biggest up 7, Hot up 4. Rivera 9 was up 9 as well. 13 for Sinar Ayas in 26th place. And 13 down for Garcia. Has got quite a good recovery. Fit down to P35. 19 places down. And Grosse 20 places down. And that means that we're going for a small 10-minute break. So grab some refreshments. I will do the same. And we will see you back again for the Pro Series in 10 minutes time. And now we're getting ready for race number 2, or event number 2, I should say, race number 1 in our evening here. Starting off with the PTT Racing Porsche Carrera Cup that we just had a few moments ago at Zandvoort. Here's the results once more if you missed it, if you're just tuning in for the Pro Series. My name is Olaf, AK Pops Racing, and I am your commentator for tonight, as we've already had our Zandvoort Porsche Racing, our Porsche Carrera Cup PTT Racing race, week number 6. These are the current looks of the results that we just had. Coming out of this event, you can see Zandvoort, Silverstone in the back there, as we are heading towards Silverstone in just a moment. Here we have our standings, with Carrera out in first, just a small bit ahead, 80 points ahead of Santma from the looks of it. His points have been deducted, and that's because of these drop rounds. They're always a little bit more cautious with that. So here's the overall standings after the halfway mark of the season. We had 40 cars in just one race ago. Currently 27 out on the track for the Pro Series. 1.5 minutes remaining, and I'll show you everything going on with that in a moment's time. Before we do that, quick look at the schedule. Currently, Carrera Cup, what we just had with 30-minute race around Zandvoort. Next week we have Spa Francorchamps, so be sure to tune in for that one. As well as for the Pro Series, we are at Silverstone. Brands Hatch was last week, and the Nordschleife will be next week, so make sure to tune in for that one as well. As for the Pro Series, we'll look at the results from last week out. Brands Hatch, of course, Carrera out in first, taking victory in race number 1 and race number 2. These are the results from race number 2. Fortune in second place, Fry in third, Wasner Bellic finishing out the top 5. And the standings are quite close as well. Be there in just a moment after we've gone through the standings. The results from last week: 25 cars. Currently we have 27 present. That is going to go for a good run. And the standings for our Pro Series: Carrera out in first, 5 weeks, 10 races, 6,503 points, quite far clear of Delphante in second and Castorino in third. So it's all looking quite close out in front still. And in the midfield, it will be close as well. Look at all these points in the 3,000s. Savan Hoffman quite close to Fry as well, who's got Kiss right behind him. As we go further and further back, it's getting closer and closer, as you can see, everyone's race count and weeks count. So the drivers that have competed in 5 weeks will be able to get their 6th week today. So we're waiting for the drivers to go on to their qualifying, a 15-minute session that has just started. And we should be able to go right on to the live views of the track with the live sounds as well. And we are going to be looking at the drivers in contention. We have Delphante second in the standings, looking for that jump up. We should have Carrera somewhere around here as well. He's in the number 1 car. Should be a little bit further back on the track. Delphante the one to look for a jump. And the number 2 Honda doing quite well. Has got a win in the small race and a win in the big race. As a reminder for those not familiar, or those that just like to have a reminder, if you don't, you're going to hear it anyway. This weekend, there's a race format. Consists of a 15-minute qualifying, followed by a 20-minute race, and that one's followed by a 40-minute race with a 15-grid place reverse grid. So that means that if you finish in pole position, you will start race 1 in position number 1, and if you finish race 1 in position 1, you will start race 2 in position 15. So the top 15 will be reversed. That always makes for some interesting fights. And that makes Grantas Carrera's achievement last week even more menacing. First in race number 1, first in race number 2. That means he's gained 14 spots in that 40-minute feature race. That's always quite a feat. Currently, Delphante, the first car out on the track, the first car to set a lap, and we will be going on board with the number 2 car as he takes a wide entry out of the final corner. Early on the power, as wide as possible, taking all the curb here on the inside, making the line as straight as possible. As we see a line of white cars on here at the 50-meter mark, lifting off, small brake tap on to the right-hander of the Cobbs corner that you don't really want to go side by side with. Maggotts and Beckett's, all the curb that you can get, just send the car on through. Downshifts here into the left-right, then on to the back straight. Sector number 2. That was sector 1, quite quick, and not one that you can go side by side with, and this is where the fighting will start. Big break here onto the right-hander, not big enough for a lot of sends, but we'll see that for the next corner as we have a small chicane coming up. And before we do that, a lot of curb here on the outside. And here we have it. A send position on the track. Right-handers here, 1 and 2. You got to be careful not to go completely flat out if you're side by side in that portion of the track. You can if you're alone, but otherwise you might squeeze someone out. A quick right-hander here. A lift and a downshift over the curbs. Completely flat through this part. Washing out really wide to the right-hand side, all the way to the left-hand side to reach the curbs. And here staying on towards the middle part of the track, because otherwise you lose a lot of time. Reminds me a lot of Brazil's a no-name in Spa. You also take a similar action. Onto the final straight of the lap. Only 2 corners to go. A left-hander we're taking right now, quite long. Late apex onto the double apex of the final right-hander. Very deep corner here. 1 apex done, 2 apex sent, and on to the start-finish line. Has 1 lap around Silverstone on board with Eric Delphante, and the lap time is a 1:56.745. And that is 1 lap to be reckoned with. That is 1 ginormous lap. The only driver really that we have to look at right now is Grantas Carracas in the number 1 Ferrari. He is in for the challenge. He is in for the championship. That's the car that we are looking at. Out in first, defending his title, as Castorino is also in this fight. And he will be taking away the fastest lap of Delphante. 1:56.537. Can Carracas do anything against it? Or will he stick behind? Well, the ladder. Half a second away from Castorino. 0.3 away from Delphante. Not a lap for Carracas to be happy with. Still has 10 minutes. Will go in after this lap to do 1 more. But that is not 1 he can be very, very happy with. Just a bit further away than he would have liked. Everyone else slotting in their first laps. Zahender now in 18th. Also not where he wants to be. Currently not inside of the top 10. Has a driver number worthy of being in the top 10. But a 57.9, currently all he can do. It's very busy on the track as well. We have 27 cars, which for Silverstone, quite a long track. Shouldn't be too big of an issue, but everyone is cramped within the same space. Sector 1 is going to be completely clean in just a moment's time. 2 more cars currently in Sector 1 as Delphante is rounding up his lap. But there's no one currently in Sector 1. It's completely clean, completely clear. Everyone's cramped in the same space. If you just take a little bit more time, you might be able to find yourself a little bit of a better spot. Zahender now in the final few corners. Delphante drops away another few tenths on Castorino, making the gap a few thousandths of a second. That's 5 thousandths of a second between Delphante and Castorino in first and second. Zahender in 19th is going to make a big jump. It's gone over half a second on his lap. That's up to 8th place. And it's currently on to Castorino, crossing the line and beating Delphante by just over a tenth. And then it's on to Carracas. See what he can do. 57.0. That's what he had before. It's going to be 56.7, but not an improvement in position. So the top three currently in a league of their own, but not a single thing that they're doing with it. Currently Max in 18th. Number 6 jumps all the way to 4th place. In contention here for a good start. More jumps all the way as Fry goes into 5th. We saw him have a good run in the previous event in the Porsche Cup. Overtaking Santama for 2nd and holding on to that for dear life. Let's see if we can do that once more, starting inside of that top 10 today. Halfway through qualifying and we still have some ways to go. Looking at Van der Meer now, who is a little bit behind on track on Kreuzelberg, who is number 12 car in 13th with an improvement. Just a few tenths as it stands, but those few tenths will put him into the top 5. And that is what happens with the track evolution in qualifying. 24 degrees Celsius in the air, 26 degrees Celsius in the track. A little bit more comfortable compared to Zandvoort. And moving from 13th, Kreuzelberg, into 3rd even. Thought it was going to go into the top 5. That has gone up to 3rd place, just slightly ahead of Carrera, who has gone back into the pits to redo his tires. As Zahender goes up to 8th place. Wait, has Carrera gone into the pits? I don't think he has just yet. As Castorino takes just a little bit more out of the time of Del Fonte. And Carrera will try once more to get an improvement in on this run. Goes up to 3rd. Small improvement once again. And the gap's very, very close. Further down, Tadic now going for one as well. Currently in 10th place. Doesn't get an improvement, just a small slowdown. And that's not the lap that he wanted. Van der Meer currently in 6th. Done a good lap as well, trying to make his way through. Has done 3 of them. We'll be looking for another one as we have 6 minutes. And then qualifying will be over. Just writing down a few questions for the drivers towards the end of this race before I forget to ask them, because that happens quite more often than I'd like. Van der Meer doesn't look like he's on a great improvement. 56.9 on the previous lap. That's also the lap that counts at the moment. Currently in 6th place. Half a second away from pole position. Stays half a second with his small improvement. We'll go back into the pits. And it's on to Castorino now to get a good improvement in. Del Fonte is on the track somewhere, currently in sector 2. Caracas is just ahead. Nope, he's not ahead. He is behind. He is in the number 1. Where is the number 3 car? That's Sehender, who is a little bit further ahead on the track. So Castorino now crossing the line will be starting his lap to defend his provisional pole position. And once again, my telemetry is not updating, so I can't see if he's improving or not until he crosses the line. We'll be in suspense all the same. I think that will be for Caracas as well, and the same for Del Fonte once he crosses the line. Currently trundling in sector 3, trying to get the tires up to temperature. The number 7 McLaren out in first, the 156.3. I remember being happy with the 159, just under the 2 minutes. And now I just realize how slow I've been, because these guys are absolutely amazing. A 156 for the top 8 at the moment. Foch just 35 thousandths away. Tadic 85 thousandths away from it. Sievert just a 10th. Giraud as well. But on to Stevens in 16th within a second. And then even further back, we have everyone up until P24 to Pludemon in the 57s. So spanning 1.5 seconds is P1 all the way to P24. So that is quite an achievement as well. Castorino through the arena. One more straight to go. 2 more corners. 1 more big braking zone. And then he can make his way to provisional pole. 3 minutes remaining. 2 more laps after this one in the capable hands of the number 7 McLaren. And then we're on for a qualifying session. A race session. Castorino looks to be very, very wide there on the entry. So that means that that will not be a lap that counts. He'll cross the line and pump out of 1 minute 58.3. So that's not a lap for him to remember. Carrera appears to be doing the same. Maybe just one more warm-up lap as Sievert has put himself into 9th place. Same here for Carrera, half a second down on his previous best. As Castorino, currently purple through Cops. That's already a 10th taken out of the pole position time. Del Fonte might also be on one of those prep laps. He wasn't. That was almost identical to his previous time, just a tiny bit slower. Kolboth in 14th. Looking for a way up as well onto 12th. That's only a 10th that he's gained. Just over a 10th, but barely. He's gained 2 spots on the grid from the looks of it. Zahender now right in front of Castorino, who has been going tremendously quick as well. The number 3 car in 8th place. We'll be looking for more than just 8th. We'll have 1 more lap in him with his 1 minute remaining. The drivers currently in the pit will have their lap time secured, and that's Del Fonte in 2nd place with a 1:56.670. Bellick is in as well. Stemmer, Stevens, Wasner in 19th. Wasner down in 19th. Zahender crosses the line and goes up to 3rd place. Kreuzelberg and Mex are down spots, 5th and 6th respectively. And they are done as Castorino just improves even further. A 1:56.165. That's a 1.5 tenths faster than what he did before. Caracas on a slower run this time, making sure that this final lap is the one to go onto the board. Zahender in 3rd, wants to do 1 more lap to get that in. Castorino has parked it. That's his qualifying lap over. He doesn't have anything else in the tires and solidifies his lap ahead of Del Fonte. There's only a few drivers now to even try and touch that lap time. Their names are Zahender and their names are Caracas, and mad is Zahender as he makes a small mistake, goes over the line, and that is his qualifying lap over. The view now goes on to Caracas. 4th place for the number 1 car. Everyone around him has had their laps done. Van der Meer, the only driver nearby that can still promise a lap. Sievert is a bit further back as well. Has some time to his name. Bellick is the pits. That's all over. And then all the way down to Giraud. It will be over a second. Sievert with 8 tenths. Don't think he can do too much. Needs to score 3 tenths at least to get the time off of Caracas' hands. The number 8 car of Lindblom now across the line goes up to 11th place. That's a good run as well. Van der Meer now right ahead of the number 16 car of Savasa. In 21st, Van der Meer in 7th. Keeps it in 7th, doesn't go any further. Savasa in 21st, holds on to 21st. And is now on to Sievert now with the number 22 car in 10th place. Tremendous effort for the Aston. Into the top 10. Can he gain another spot? Yes, he can. That's up to 7th place. Now it's Carrera has to take away pole position, but can he do it? No, he cannot. He can improve, and it's an identical lap time to him there, but he will be in 4th place as he takes the checkered flag a bit later. So that means that our qualifying winner is Castorino with a 156.165. He will be starting on pole position for race number 1. That means that we will have a good look at the starting line. And of course, you can't just open up the grid because I don't think that has solidified just yet. So I'll throw up the trailer, and then hopefully afterwards we'll have a look at the grid. So we'll be able to walk away for some water once more, and then we'll get started with an hour of full-time racing. Here we are then with a live look of the grid. Should be all updated. It is Amadeo Castorino in 1st place, taking away pole position in front of Eric Del Fonte, who has P2 with a number 2 car, and following suit it's Hender in 3rd place with that number 3 car. Caracas will be on the outside here, starting from 4th on the back foot for race number 1. Still very much possible to gain another podium position. But the win will be very difficult. Krosselberg right behind in the number 12 LFM Esports, 5th place for him. Max in 6th with the number 6 car, joining in Del Fonte and Zender in putting their car number on that position. Sievert in 7th place has got the inside line to look for a good offense. It's Van der Meer have to try and get that overtake and hold it into turn number 1, but right behind him is Michael Fry, the car that has shown the moves, and there it is. And the graphics didn't load up for just a second, and we'll be trying to do that again. Samir Fudge with the stickered Ferrari in P10. Lindblom right behind Pixel Pilots in 11th place. Bellic right behind in 12th place. The Bellic GT Racing, good job of putting his number 19 car in 12th, as Tadic has put his number 20 car in 13th with another good qualifying. Kobath in number 18 in position 14th, and Giraud has done nothing better than P15. Have a lot to make up for, but is driving around that reverse grid spot, as is Stemmer. We're trying to take away that P16. Same goes for Van Rossum, who's currently 4th in the standings. Looking to get that reverse grid pole as well to look for a victory in the 40-minute feature race. Stevens in 18th place. Booker as well will have a look for that position. So they all have a chance of getting that spot, getting that reverse grid pole. Sasha Wassenaar, number 5 car in 20th. Have some roads ahead of him. Sauza in the number 16, 21st. Scott Voigt right beside him in the Firefly Racing number 15 car. 22nd, Volkov in 23rd. Looking to take on the cars ahead of him. Looking behind him to Silverio, currently 24th place on the grid. Bloodamon in 25th. Currently having a little bit of a shuffle with Schwartz in 26th place. And then Mario Hoffman will be in last place with his number 26. Looking like a good race, looking like a good start here. Scasserino will take the lead. We should be able to have a good run onto turn number 1. Remember, this is a 20-minute race, so less points handed over for this race and more points handed over for the next one. Looking at our current standings, gonna go run through those one more time because these are so important for this race. Garantas Garicas out in first, Delphante second, and Castorino, our pole sitter, out in third. And if we want to look back to Zahender, we have to go on to page number 2. Unfortunately, in the contention, Kreuzelberg as well, a little bit further behind here in P23. I don't think we have seen Zahender just yet. So he will be outside of the top 30, trying to make inroads on all of these drivers, trying to take away those positions, trying to take away those points. I don't think we see him here either, so we should be needing to go back to the live action because we are getting ready to head on to that final sector. Castorino, the number 7 McLaren, leading the grid. 27 cars on the grid, 26 on the track, and Silverio in the number 21 car currently sat in the pit lane, giving everyone behind him a small advantage because they will be looking at a 1 point gain, a 1 position gain, a little bit more than 1 point. With Silverio starting from the pit lane, trying to see what he can do. Into the final sector they all go. Going to be lining up double file at any point in this sector. There we have them. They all get to go ahead, and everyone suddenly picking up the pace, weaving and braking. You can hear them grind the brakes. See if we can get that on board. The left foot will be dropped down. Also speeding up and slowing down here from Castorino. Expertly trying to get temperatures into the brakes. So they're going around the final corner, and it will be green on the start-finish straight. Castorino has the inside line, Delphante on the outside. Zahender with the yellow car on the inside. And Caracas, our championship leader, starting in 4th, having to make some work. Now looking at the top, guys. This will be the inside line for Castorino and the outside for Caracas. But right behind, he will have Tim Kreuzelberg in the number 12 on his inside, trying to make inroads as well. So we're waiting for the green flag to drop as they're crossing the start-finish line. And it is go, go, go time at Silverstone. A bad start from the looks of it from Caracas doesn't allow him to gain anything, as we do have Delphante holding on to the line. Good start from Eric Delphante, going side by side with Castorino through the first part of the track, but we'll have to slot in behind as Beckett's and Beckett's just a bit too tight. Like I said, you don't want to go side by side through all of this. Comps a little bit slower than it was before. Should all be possible, but this is just a bit too tight, and now it's a room for an overtake into the first braking zone. Castorino doing a good job of breaking away from Delphante. The number 2 car not able to get past anywhere. Van der Meer fighting with Fry, who is still side by side. The inside being for the light green and the blue car of Fry, the Porsche. Looking for some way to attack back, but Van der Meer has got the inside line for this left-hander and should be able to stay ahead, but that is Fry. Looking feisty, a good run back onto the Honda of Van der Meer. will send him wide, and the position is back to the hands of Fry. And now it's a quick look towards the outside, as there's multiple cars behind him. Lindblom and Fonch trying to join in on this battle. And Tadic is in the white car, just a little bit behind as well, all having a look at this position. That is Fonch around the outside of Lindblom, who does gain the place back, but will have his inside to defend a little bit further back. Fonch now gaining that place up to 10th. Has to worry behind him, though, as Lindblom will be looking to gain that back. Is pushed off towards the curb, but the space still being given. Next corner is a left-hander, which means that Lindblom is on the back foot. The outside line quite strong here. Will turn into the inside for the next turn. If he can keep it on the track, he can't keep it ahead or side by side with Fudge, and will have to settle for P11 as Fudge stays ahead. A little bit further back. Some more fights here with Stevens side by side. As I believe Savasa, who is looking to gain a spot there on the inside. Goes a little bit wide off the track as Pludemon is joining in on this fight. It's a quick left-hander now. Out of cops. And we are losing Savasa with one place. Pludemon up to 23rd now. Laid out in front, still half a second. We have one car that's a little bit further back, and that's Silverio. Nothing to worry about too much. That appears to be Savasa with a little bit of a track cut there. Not showing his strongest as of now. No side-by-side actions too much either. Wasner now getting a spot on Van Rossum, who's trying to go for the retake here in the arena at Silverstone. I've seen the outside work here for Fry, but it's not working for Wasner just yet. Van Rossum with the wider line. He's either going to gain a spot back or is going to lose one more. It's being pushed wide. Not wide enough. Voigt is on the outside. Will be turning into the inside. And has to back off as Van Rossum keeps his 18th place. Still down one spot on where he started. Volkov now on the inside of Bucher. The number 14 car. Having to watch out. Still has the inside line, which is quite strong here on the exit. But don't forget that Volkov has more power on that exit if he takes that wide line on the entry. It will be a side-by-side run into the final section of the track. The light blue car of Volkov currently slightly ahead of Bucher. The braking is just a bit different from one line to the other, and Bucher able to slot in right ahead. Savasa takes one spot away from Stevens, and the fighting here in the back of the field is quite close. And it's also quite close in the middle of the field. Stadic right ahead in the white car. It's got Belik with the yellow car right behind him, and Giraud also quite close with this white and red car. Kolboth with the black car, and Stemmer with the black and red car. Currently a 5-way fight for P12. This is all around that P15 place that Kolbath is currently inheriting. The black car on his way to start in pole position. That's a slide there that loses him the spot. And Stemmer now taking away P15. We just saw that happen in the back, and that's the lead for provisional pole for race number 2. Being swapped around. Giraud braking a little bit too early for Stemmer's liking. Small look there on the inside, but there's no space to park your car just yet. You have to wait a little bit longer. As we do have a side-by-side battle here with Fry and Max. Fry taking another spot here. He is on a rampage. 2 spots now in the first 5 minutes of the race. We'll have to look behind him now because the car ahead is just over a second away. A defensive move now from the number 10 Porsche will hold his spot nice and cleanly. Van der Meer right behind Fonch is in this fight too. It's almost 3 wide as they're going into the arena. And Fonch taking the spot away from Van der Meer from the looks of it, but he is being blocked. That small contact. Van der Meer goes sideways and drops more and more spots, and this is what happens when it is so close. One contact and it's all over. Van der Meer now is still ahead of Wasner, who is closing in and has more speed coming off of the tarmac instead of the grass. And we'll lose that one as well. Van Rossum will be the next driver to defend from. The Honda number 13 holding on with Ponch being responsible for that tap. Oh, well, responsible, involved in the tap. I think the responsibility will be looked at by the stewards. Will give their verdict Del Fonte now in second place, still looking at the rear of Castorino's car. The fastest laps have been swapped around a few times. Del Fonte now holding it with 1:56.852. The pace almost identical between these two. And the fight is still on. Nothing too great to show just yet. Carrera sandwich behind Zahender and Kreuzelberg in 3rd and 5th respectively. The number 1 car not making too much effort to get higher up. 4th place is all that he gets at the moment. The Ferrari not looking too feisty at the British track. And we're looking at a little bit of a slower race here from our championship leader. Del Fonte in 2nd place, also 2nd in the standings. Castorino in 1st, 3rd in the standings. So they're basically in the inverse of what they are in the championship, with Zahender throwing a little bit more of a disadvantage towards Caracas, being in the way as well. But it is looking like a good fight here for the championship. The halfway mark of the season. A reminder, this is week number 6 of season 20. We're looking at brand new graphics, brand new low fuel motorsport identity. The liveries should follow soon. We have a livery design contest going on as well. I just remembered, where you can design your own livery. Enter for some good prizes. You can earn, I believe, a lifetime of LFM Patreon. I have to say I believe, because I'm not quite sure. Let me check in with that. Just a moment, as Castorino has popped in the fastest lap once more, swapping it back. Another graphic at the moment, but yes, right now there is a the livery design contest where you can show us your talent and become part of LFM history. Some rules and guidelines all on the Discord server. You can join in for free as well. Some colors that you have to use, all part of the new identity: the dark blue, the white, and the neon green, of course. Looking at the new creative design with the new official LFM colors that we're showing on these graphics as well. As you can see in the bottom left, the dark blue with the neon green and the white of all the numbers and all the accents all across. And the first place will receive unlimited Patreon membership and opportunity to join the LFM team. And I believe that will be as some sort of content designer. And that should be quite clean. You also can win some LFM merch and some sync mesh gloves for your sim rig. And of course, a social media shout out if you are a livery designer. That is, of course, a very nice grab as well. For 2nd place, you get a few months of Patreon as well. Same for 3rd place, where both will get some merch and a social media shout out as well. For more details, you can go on to the LFM Discord server, where you can participate for yourself. We have been looking at this fight. It's dispersed a tiny bit as we see Kolbath now taking away a position from Stemmer once more. Stemmer now in the grasp of Wasner right behind Van der Meer. Having a look at this as well, it is the fight for 15th place. Stemmer is the black and red car, currently under attack of Wasner with the red and white car with the old LFM colors. We're looking at this fight for the reverse pole position, reverse grid pole for race number 2. Van Rossum trying to join this with his Ferrari as we're approaching the halfway mark of the race. We will have 6 more laps, including the one that we are approaching right now. Stemmer losing sight of Kolbath, and it's not too surprising, because this fight is quite close. Stemmer losing sight of Wasner. There he is. Back again in the mirror, jumping out of being on the off track of cops. You can only do that so many times until these stewards think, hey, you've done this one too many times, and we'll slap you with a penalty. It's a drive-through penalty at Silverstone. Nothing too big, nothing too bad, but of course it will send you out of contention. The P15 all to play for that reverse grid pole position. Castorino comfortably ahead now. The pace difference with Del Fonte not too fantastic, but it is enough to keep him in P number 1. Zahender also 1.5 seconds away. Caracas has got more pressure behind than he has in front. About half a second of a distance to the number 12 car behind him, but 8 tenths ahead of him to the number 3 of Sebastian Zahender. So it is close in the fight where he's going to lose more points and not gain more points. What we've looked at. Stemmer now has to go on the defense because he would probably want to keep this P15 and not drop back to 16, because the difference between P14 and P15 is going from P2 to P1 on the grid, or gaining a place from P15 to 14 will mean that you start from P2 instead of P1, so it's nothing too bad. But the position change from 15th to 16th means that you will start from 16th instead of 1st, and that is of course a very, very big deal. So Stemmer in 15th place really wants to take one place off Kolbath, gain some more points, and also the possibility of doing that again in the second race and trying to take away more points. What he doesn't want is Wasner to get an overtake done on him, because that means that he'll be starting from 16th. Wasner's only wish at this point, though, is that he can take away that spot from Stemmer. He's taken away 4 spots from everyone around him. He wants to take it one more. Has his sights set on this, shows himself in the mirror. Stemmer hasn't gone defensive at all throughout this section, and will concede the place to Wasner, who takes away P15. And now Van der Meer is looking to retake one spot as well. There's a few more laps remaining, and it is going to be tied towards the finish. Van Rossum is now being approached by Voigt, and Van Rossum going defensive. Voigt on the outside, a bit more speed through all of this. We'll go a tiny bit wider, opening up the inside for Van Rossum to retake a spot. Being pushed a little bit wide, but joined back just in time. It looks like Voigt has got P18 to his name. Also 4 spots from where he started, a little bit squirrely on the exit, but will keep his place. But Van Rossum not giving up just yet. A difficult corner coming up now to overtake. That's why we head on to the arena, and that's where Van Rossum can have a small look at Voigt. Doesn't look like he's doing it, so 15th place in the hands of Wasner. He's doing a good job to hold on to that. Meanwhile, Carrera has reached the grasps of Zahender ahead. So we'll be looking for an overtake sometime soon, or maybe an opportunity sometime soon, as we're heading into the final stages of race number 1. The final corners as well. Voigt having that defensive, or having to go defensive. Van Rossum wants that spot very, very badly. There's more fighting going on in the middle of the field as well. Or should I say the middle of the top 15. That is Tadic currently ahead in the white car. Gerard is the number 4 car that we're looking at in the middle of this, and then Bellic with the number 19 dark blue, black and yellow livery in the back of this 3-way fight. This is for P11, currently held by Tadic in the white car. And then we see Lindblom a little bit further ahead in the number 8 car in 10th place. And these are also positions for points, and if you gain 1, you start 1 position lower in race number 2 with that 15 spot reverse grid. And then you have the opportunity to overtake them once more in that second 40-minute race. There's 1 pit stop, so there's a bit more strategy going into the race. So there's some more to play for and some more to play with. So the pit window will open in 10 minutes into the race. Will be open for 20 minutes, and then we'll be going closing again for the final 10 minutes. Have some final clean racing with either new tires or not. Mostly a refuel, and 3 more laps for this race. We predicted 11 laps. We're 7 laps in. 8 laps will be concluded now, and then 3 more to go, which means that we will get those. We'll get those laps. Carcass and Zahender now fighting in the final part of the track. Zahender on the inside. Carcass will try to push alongside the outer parts of the track. Small tap there from the looks of it, or that is just Carcass losing his rear for just a moment. Going into comps, they might just lose it all because Kreuzelberg is right behind to pick it all up. It's very, very close, but it's very, very clean from the looks of it. But Zahender with the inside line will stay ahead for now, and Carcass being sent back to P4 off of that podium. But it happened once, so it can happen again. But the Ferrari needs to be careful not to burn his tires too much, because Zahender is going to be quick throughout all of this. And here's the look. No moves just yet. The arena coming up. But the arena, this is not even the arena. This is just a small little chicane coming right up. The inside being open for Carrera to jump his car in. Decides not to do it, and knows there are better spots to do so. He's going to be sniffing that diffuser like absolutely crazy, following Zahender through the middle part of the track. Will be doing everything he can to keep himself as close as possible to the car ahead. And trying not to outbrake himself into the rear of Zahender's car. And the last thing you want to do is cause a collision. Zahender looked to be a tiny bit careful there on this part of the track. And here it is, the run for Carrera into the slipstream. One thing Zahender does not have to defend himself. But Carrera knows that it can be one move and over, because Kreuzelberg is right behind to pick up the scraps. And this is the fight for the final podium spot, P3. And we can see the top 5 not moving from where they were. The top 5 not changing any spots. Sievert up 1, Fry up 2, Max down 2, Fotcher 1. Big moves Wasner up 5 into 15th. That's of course the spot where you want to be. The only Bentley from the top 20. It's going to be looking to start on pole position. 2 more laps to go. Carrera knows he's got limited availability and limited time to make the move happen. The tires draining as well, but 20 minutes should be fine to hold on. Carrera running out of time, out of possibilities. Decided to stay behind for now. There's no moves being made on this lap either. And Kreuzelberg is patiently waiting behind. Maybe looking for a way to sneak on through. Nothing for now. A small defensive look there from Zahender. Doesn't commit to it though, because he knows that Carrera's a bit too far behind to do anything about it. Good run now from the exit. That's very, very close. I think that's the closest they have been in a while. The look will be thrown 100% into this corner, because this is the closest that he has been. There's the look. There's the small little look. Not a complete send. Zahender still has it all in his pocket, but Carrera makes himself known and shows Zahender that he can send it in the final moments, that he can indeed make himself big, that he can make himself known, and that it's never safe to never safe to think that you have this spot to your name. 1 more lap to go, and Carrera will set everything on black, or maybe even on green. That's a bit too far, a bit too wide. They both wanted to take that final track limit warnings, because you can get 3 of them. The 4th one will give you a drive-through penalty, like I mentioned before, and they want to gain every little advantage that they can. But as it stands, it's just not working. Kreuzelberg looking for a small look as well. Trying to see if there is a possibility, is an opportunity. Zahender slightly defensive, but doesn't go for anything too big. These 3 just in line. So going through the middle bit. There's only 2 more opportunities realistically for Carrera to send his car in. We'll have a look at his steering. If we even can see his steering. Don't think we can see it too well. And we can see his intentions well enough from the view here. Position 1 or spot 1 is right here. This is where you can maybe have a small look on towards the inside if you're close enough. But Carrera simply is not. Will have to slot behind. This is the spot. This is the chance that Carrera has. One more braking zone as Castorino has been leading this back from start to finish. From pole to win, leading every lap in race number 1. And there goes Carrera. His chances. That is a race over with Castorino crossing the line in position 1 from start to finish. As dominant as Carrera was earlier today, Castorino will take the win with Del Fonte in second place. Zehender will fend off our championship leader, Carrera, and get home in third place with Carrera in fourth, Kreuzenberg in fifth, Sievert in sixth, and everyone else joining in quite closely. But your race winner, Amadeo Castorino, for race number 1. So between the races, we will have a little bit of time before the service will go live. It's a few minutes later than than it usually is. So we should be able to give you another small break of about 10 minutes. And then we will be back for another 40-minute race with the reverse grid, meaning that Sasha Wasner will start on pole position for race number 2. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be back in the action in just 10 minutes time. Final moments of waiting are almost over. We're almost ready to get onto a 40-minute race here at Silverstone. The premium race, the feature race of our Silverstone event is about to start. But we have a few more minutes to talk about a few more important things. First off, if you're just joining us now and you want to see the results from the first race, I got you. These are the results from Silverstone race number 1. Castorino won, not by a landslide, but he won quite convincingly over Davante and Zahender, fending off Caracas with nail and tooth, or however the saying goes, to take home 3rd place, with Kreuzelberg right behind as well in 5th place. Mosner starting in finishing in 15th, will start in 1st place. Van der Meer 16th, just missing out on that reverse grid pole position. Severio, unfortunately, from the pits to last place. Not the greatest showing, but we'll have redemption in race number 2. This is the updated standings after race number 1. Caracas in 1st, Castorino in 2nd place, has just overtaken Eric Davante by just a few points and is setting his sights on Caracas, his 1st place. We'll have to start behind Caracas though, so we will have to pass him at some point here. Fortune come from 9th place all the way to the top 5, doing a good job of that as well. And here's the further standings from everyone. Some of these drivers not present today. Most of the top 10, top 15 are present. Everyone behind is a little bit of a mix of they are and they aren't. So if you see a driver that you want to support from here, just make sure that if they have 11 races counted, they're probably here. And if they have 7 or 9, they probably are also here. And if they have anything of an even number, they're probably not here today. Further down the order, currently on P60. Should have a quick look at the schedule as well. This is what it looks like for the Pro Series, all the way on the left hand side of the table. Currently in week number 6, Silverstone. Currently on November 13th it is. Today it is very much Thursday, November 13th. We have Silverstone next week out. We have the Nordschleife, followed by Valencia, Suzuka, Hungaroring, Paul Ricard, and then our final week at Monza. We have 1 week of a break, because then it will be Christmas. And the final race happening at Monza, I believe I should have that one too. So I'll see you in a few weeks. And one of the other races, I forgot if it was, I think it was Suzuka. It's the one that I'm at for week number 9. And then I'll be back for Monza as well for the season finisher. I'm always very, very happy to do. So that's the schedule. We've seen the grid. We've seen the results. We've seen the standings. So let's head on to the live view of our final practice moments before the race. The grid has already been set, and we are currently looking at the drivers doing their laps around the track. So 4 more minutes until we have our waiting period of another 4 minutes, and then we have our formation lap of another 3 minutes, and then we can start on with our race. So about 10 minutes before the race starts. So if you need to grab anything as a snack, anything to drink, now's the time. Now is the final moments to do so. So you can watch these drivers do their thing in peace, do their thing, the thing that they do best, and that is to drive very, very quickly around the track in a 4-wheeled car. Sometimes 3. Has happened before. Punctures and other incidents causing that, but overall they have 4 wheels on the track. Kreuzelberg held on to that 4th place, held on to 5th place, apologies. Was looking for maybe something of a pickup after Caracas, and Caracas had a fight with Zahender, but that fight not being present. So Zahender taking 3rd place will start in 13th. 2nd place for Delfante will be 14th. And 15th place will be for Castorino, who won race number 1. He's going to get his win tally up to 3 from the drivers that are doing wins. They're doing quite well. Caracas has won race 1 twice and race to 3 times. Delphante has 1 win on a small race, 1 win on a big race, and then we have 1 win for Castorino on race 1, which he just has turned into a 2nd win. He's got 1 win on a big race as well, and then Wasner has got a win on race 1 to his name. Will start on pole position and will have the chance to gain a win or a victory for race number 2 as well, to add that to his tally. As a reminder of the format, we've had 15 minutes of qualifying, a 20-minute race. Now we have a 40-minute race coming up. 10 minutes of racing, then the pit window opens for 20 minutes to close off with another 10 minutes of racing. That means that the drivers will come in a little bit after about 10 to 15 minutes. A lot of them will come in around the halfway mark, 20 minutes in. And then the last drivers will probably come in 25 to 30 minutes into the race. Look at this nice little bell curve of activity in the pit lane, as per usual. So that's when you can expect the drivers to go in. Depending on the strategy, of course, they'll either take tires or they won't. Track feels quite normal. 26 degrees on the track is not too hot for their tires to absolutely melt away. It's not too cold either to cause extreme blistering. So the lap times set here are not at all representative of what anyone can do. 156 have been driven by the drivers during the race already. These are just the practice and the warm-up laps for these conditions. They haven't changed from race 1 to race 2, but sometimes it's just nice to try it once more. The grid has been set. It takes a little bit of time for the reverse grid to be applied. So that's why the server doesn't start on the hour, but starts on 5 past the hour. That was about 10 minutes ago. Now the practice will come to a close, and we'll get our final race of today underway. So drivers should be teleported onto the grid in just a moment. Checkered flag is out. Maximum wait time 2 minutes and 50 seconds. 5 cars on the track making the rounds. Forge the final one. I'll be following him through. Once he crosses the line, it should be game over. Everyone will be thrown onto the grid. Seeking the limits is Fudge. Currently on track to be purple. But then again, like I said, it is practice. Not everyone has set a lap time. And Delphante's plus 38 is not actually a plus 38. It's all variables in this small little free practice session that can all make some impact on the standings, so don't look at those. One thing to look at though is the setups from the drivers. They've had one race as Fudge finds the barrier. It's now looking to reset to the pits. The stemmer has gone back as well, and everyone is all done and ready to go to the grid. As I was saying, we have had one race of about 20 minutes, and that means that we will have time. The drivers will have time to adjust their setups now. Conditions are about equal, and that means that they know exactly what they're going up against. 2 20-minute stints, about the same as that first 20-minute stint. So if they want to make their final adjustments, they can right now. Let's see if we can get our grid rolling for our grid walk for race number 2. We cannot, because that is not Castorino. This is indeed Sasha Wasner. So we are going to wait for that to update. Will take some time. Always checking in a few times before our formation lap. We should have enough time in our formation lap. We have 27 cars on the grid. Wasner finishing in P15, now up to P1 for the grid. Castorino winning race number 1 on P15 on the grid. So everyone in between that has been reversed. Carrera, Delphante, Castorino still in the fight for the championship. Carrera in first, Delphante in third, Castorino in second. It is quite close between all of these drivers. We just saw the position swap in the standings for today. Davante held second place. Now that is in the hands of Castorino. The gap was about 400 points. And he can swing just that quickly. Take number 2 for the grid walk. See if we can get anything done. We cannot. It is still Castorino, what it shows here for Wasner. That's a confirmation that it is actually Wasner. He might be a little bit smart here, because this is a British track, right? So we are in the UK, and he's driving the Bentley. So that means that his steering wheel and his seat, of course, and the pedals and everything that he needs is on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side for, I think, literally every other car. It's the only Bentley on the grid from the looks of it. And he is looking to start on pole position. It's got a good look for Cops, the more dangerous corner, so to say. Going towards the outside on the entry is quite easy. Easy to spot, easy to feel, and then of course you can go as close to the inside as possible, and you can see it quite well here in the Bentley because you're on the right hand side. And then also the track limits on the exit of Cops is easier to gauge as well because you are on the right hand side. So that means that if you are still on the curb, you are fine, but if you're over the curb, then you're probably not fine. 1 minute to go, and we're going for one more try on our grid walk, and unfortunately we'll have to say that we can't make that happen. So that means that we'll do our own little grid walk. Sasha Wasner in first place will take pole position for race number 2. Lining up on the outside line here is Kobath in the number 18 McLaren. We'll look for a good run on to turn number 1. And Kevin Bellick now with the number 19 car in third place. Let's go to the inside line to look for something. And Giraud will have the outside line to look for something. Should be difficult, but not impossible. Tadic in fifth place will have a good look at the fights out in front. We'll have to worry about Lindblom behind, but most importantly, we'll have to worry about Fonch behind, who has jumped a lot of spots in the championship, will want to jump even more. And now we're getting to the faster and faster drivers from race number 1. Mex in P8. Fry will hold 9th place in the number 10 Porsche. Sievert finishing P6. Now on to the top 5 of race number 1. Keuselberg in 5th place. Grantas Caracas in 4th. Will now start in 12th. Our championship leader still in P1, but might lose it if anything goes awry here. Zahender, fantastic job to hold on to that 3rd place. Davante on the podium 2nd, but only to 1, and that is Amadeo Castorino, who will be starting from 15th place here for race number 2. Van der Meer in 16th, just got passed by Wasner. One thing that he didn't want to happen. Stemmer in 17th place, also was part of that P15 gang and has been dropped back a little bit. Voigt was in that fight too, now in 18th place. Van Rossum was in that moment, in a few moments there as well, currently in 19th place. Towards the back of the grid, Bucher now in 20th, Volkov in 21st, right behind as well. Savasa had a moment in race number 1, currently 22nd on the starting grid. Pludeman 23rd, taking behind for the drivers to catch up a tiny bit. Stevens being one of them. 24th, number 25 car in 24th. Lamborghini lining up towards the back of the grid. Swarge with the number 27 McLaren in 25th. Hoffman putting his 26th car in 26th. The Nissan only leading Silverio in the Lexus, who started from the pit lane in race number 1 and will be starting from the back of the grid now for race number 2. Once again, Sasha Wasner, leader of the grid for race number 2. 40 minutes for race. We'll be looking at some action all throughout the grid. The main thing to look out for is the spots around P15. It is the start, it is quite close. So it's still possible than drivers like Van der Meer, Stemmer, Voigt. Basically anyone around that P15 mark can take away the position from Castorino, from Del Fonte, from Zahender, from Caracas. They might be able to send it all the way back up. And that, of course, is something that I'd love to see, because that gives it a little bit more of a challenge. But it also makes it more interesting for the championship, because then you have cars in the middle of your fight. You have to get more overtakes done. And there's, of course, going to be a pace difference, because we know how fast they are. We saw Caracas dominate the Porsche Carrera Cup. And he's won 2 races last week, race 1 and race 2 in the Pro Series. So we know that he's quick. And that only means that Zahender, Del Fonte and Castorino might just be quicker at Silverstone. And they are right behind Caracas. So that's going to be interesting to watch, as well as our top 5. I must say, Wasner was on a charge out in front. We'll have one job to do, and that is hold on and secure position number 1. Our feature race for Silverstone about to start, with Wasner leading our pack. Cobalt in the dark car, number 18, McLaren towards the left-hand side of your screen. Bellic with the yellow and black car on the right-hand side, followed by Giraud in the white and red car on the left-hand side of the screen. And on the right side, the white car from Tadic, being followed by Lindblom with the orange car on the left side of the road. That is the top 6 that we're looking at, the top 6 that are going to be so crucial for the start of this race. Waiting for them to cross the start finish line, for it to be green. Will be in just 3, 2, 1. And we're green for race number 2 at Silverstone. Good start from Wasner, as Kolbath is being left behind. Bellic also not a fantastic start, has Giraud as a visitor. And the top 6 are as they were, but a little bit further back. It is looking quite spicy here in this part of the top 6. That's a send there from Tadic, who passes Giraud with a lot of ease. As Lindblom almost capable of joining in on this fight. Foch feisty and a good start here in 7th place, almost having a look at 6th, and there is a lot of shuffling a little bit further back. Fry now in 8th place, overtaking Max Zahender, up 1 on Caracas. That's what the one we're looking for, as Castorino is trying to go on through the inside of Caracas. Does he gain the position though? Doesn't look like it for now, because the inside line will be here for Caracas for the next section of the track. So that means that Caracas keeps that place, but Castorino a bit too quick will send his car on the inside of Zahender even, and that's positions gained 2 for Castorino, who now has to worry about Caracas, who is now behind him. Del Fonte has moved, currently in 15th place, just dropped it down 1 spot, and Castorino with a fantastic start on lap number 1, taking away P13 and gaining 2 spots, gaining 3 spots by also trying to pass Zahender on the exit here. Does so, and now just needs to hold on to it. Will have the first run to the apex and jumps up to 12th place, but this is where it gets spicy, because this is where Zahender can maybe look for something, but Caracas was looking for something, I thought, but that is Del Fonte trying to squeeze it around the outside of Caracas. Holds on to the line here, and Caracas can't do anything but watch as Del Fonte parks his car on the apex, and Honda sending it on through, and Caracas dropping down to 15th place as Wasner holds on to P number 1, and Kolbath sending it in 2nd place. So these fights quite close now. We see Max as well trying to defend from Kreuzelberg. This is all happening in sector number 1. Maggots and Beckett still safe, Zahender slotting in behind as well. And Caracas looking for something on Del Fonte, but can't find it anywhere. And Castorino still behind Kreuzelberg, who started in 11th place. The 5th place finisher now holding on to the hopes, not losing a place to Castorino, who will be looking on towards the inside onto this long right-hander. Defense not being thrown by the number 12 car, and has been overtaken, and Castorino on an absolute charge. Zehender trying to follow him through, but there's not enough space and backing out just before the contact. Zehender not too impatient, knows that the race is longer than the first one, knows that he's got more opportunities, but Delphante now right behind, having a few looks. He's making himself known, showing Zehender that he is capable of doing something if he wants to. Zehender here with a short line towards the apex, trying to do the same thing to the number 12 car ahead. Stemmer now appears to be part of some contact. See if we can get a replay on that one for the number 17 car. Here we have Stemmer still behind Vandermeer, ahead of Voigt, going through the middle part of the circuit. That's a small tap to the rear, and there he is sideways. Recovered from it though quite well. So that's a good recovery from Stemmer. Currently down in 20th. Spellik holds the fastest lap in 3rd place. Everyone behind, of course, scrapping for positions, so not able to gain the most amount of time. Giraud now under pressure from Lindblom, who is making a small slide and is now his Fudge right behind him. So that will be a slipstream battle to see who gets the spot. Tadic looking to be on the defense as well, as Giraud is now on the outside for the right-hander. Will it be close enough though? See them in the distance. There they are. The inside being taken by Tadic. Small taps there from the back from Giraud, and that means that Lindblom sends it on through, and now Poch is being parked in. Fry is being parked in. Sievert can't do anything either. Foch here on the inside. We'll look for something, but there's lots and lots of contact here. Giraud holds on to 5th, but Lindblom goes on through to 4th place and has a significant gap now to Giraud behind. That is opportunistic stuff. Kind of want to see that from the view of Lindblom. See if we can. Number 20 car being involved there. Unsure if we can get a good replay of this one. On board here with Giraud. We should be on Lindblom's view. He's already ahead at this point. See if we can get a little bit earlier. With earlier view. That's a bit too early, I think. We might be able to see this from the view of Lindblom. About 10 seconds should be fine. If we can see anything from this point, I think it's a little bit too early. Well, around the outside, and that looked easier. Giraud now in 5th place. Thought that was a little bit more spectacular than it ended up being. Still quite close around basically everywhere. Wasner leads by about 8 or 7 tenths. That's that gap has been solid for a while now. Bellick in 3rd, doing a great job of holding on to that. Lindblom, of course, with that opportunistic move. There he is in with his Honda in 4th place. Giraud currently in 5th. Trying to chase him back down, and some more fights here in the midfield. Fry with the neon green and blue car right behind Tadic. He's got Sievert behind him, and there's Castorino in 10th. He's been making moves all over the place, starting in 15th now, up quite a few spots. Of course, wants to look at a return to the top once more. Do a repeat of what Caracas did last week out. Win race 1 and race number 2. As Fry having a look at Tadic. You see this fight unfold. It's going to lose him a bit of time. Sievert now on the offense. Fry has to go slightly towards the inside to defend his position in 8th. The look being sent, but that's going to send him squarely on the exit. Doesn't have the run. Gets slightly tapped, I believe, by Tadic. Will hold it on side by side. Though Sievert here not ready to make it 3. Not ready to make it 3. That was manifesting. Hopefully he wasn't going to send it. They're all quite close. The train is extending. It's currently from Tadic all the way down to Delphante. And Sievert is now on past Fry. And he's looking with his nose on the inside of Tadic. Who knows he's there. Leaves the space just enough. Barely enough. And looks like Sievert's through twice now. Through Kops, small tap sends Tadic wide. With a lot of understeer. Will emerge ahead of Sievert. Who will not be happy about this. But Castorino getting past Fry through all of this as well. There's a big slide there from Fry. Max has to slow down. Almost had Kreuzelberg on his rear. With Zahender behind. That's Delphante. That's Max going wide. Delphante going on through. Zahender off the track as well. Max back onto the track. Delphante up a spot. Not happy is Kreuzelberg, who's going to send it around the outside. Zahender now defensive because Caracas is coming in and the chaos is everywhere. With Max now losing the fight to Kreuzelberg. Delphante right behind that fight. And then Zahender and Caracas fighting for their spots, breaking very deep, and that's Zahender too deep, locking the rears, sending him sideways, and Van der Meer going on through with contact, and that's more taps. Van der Meer being caught and dropping down and down the order. Not happy, and is all the way last now as Hoffman has gone through. That is unfortunate stuff for Van der Meer. Victim to an incident that happened a bit further up. Castorino now in 9th place. Looking to gain some more. And Delphante in 13th on Max. Has a look, but can't send it just yet. That's going to slow him down for Caracas. Was lost 2 spots from where he started. In 12th. That's not good for the championship. Well, good for his championship. But perfect for the championship overall. 30 minutes to go. That means that the pit window will open right about now. There it is. Pit window open for 20 minutes. The drivers can go in now and get their repairs done. So Van der Meer can choose to go in, get the repairs in, and pick up the scraps. Maybe see if he can still get some places back. Will he do that though? Yes, he will. Volkov is in and Van der Meer is in as well. See if he can get back out in fighting shape. Castorino now on the rear of Sievert. He's made some places here before. Decides to stay behind for now. Sievert will keep that 8th place. But the pressure is still on. Defensive from the number 22 car. Knows that Castorino is here. Championship charge is still on halfway through the season. Delphante makes his way past Max, and Castorino makes his way past Sievert. Fry looking to do the same now. Contact on the straight. That's not something that you want to see. Fry past Sievert as well. So there's a mega contact on the straight. Sievert not happy with that one because he's got Kreuzelberg right behind him instantly. Not a moment's rest for the number 22 car. That's a tap to the rear of Fry, who goes around, straightens the curb, tries to get back onto the track, but loses more and more spots. That's Max on through, and that's maybe even Caracas on through. As we see Sievert drop back down the order as well. That tap, of course, sending him a little bit further back. See some contact with Giraud as well. We'll have a look at that in just a moment. That's the number 4 car. See if we can get that replay going in a second. Currently looking at the Kerfuffle here in the middle of the pack. Fry in 13th, holding on, sliding, and getting a tap with Caracas. Is going on towards the inside. And that's Zahender off as well with a big tap, and that's more and more contact. Holy, we're going to need like 20 replays for this one. Hold on, we're going to start at the start. First off, car number 4, Giraud, has got some contact here with Foch. Something happened. Unsure what, but this is inside of the arena. This looks to be somewhat of a tap, not to the rear, but to the side. Not small contact, but that's quite clean. Fudge going through. Then we have another accident with the number 10 car. This is Michael Fry with contact. I believe that is that's Sievert behind him with that's Kreuzelberg right behind as well. And this is contact that we saw. Start of the chain reaction here on the apex very late from from Sievert. So it was just a bit too far up. Then we had contact, an accident with Caracas. This is contact with Fry. So the neon green and blue car is Fry. Caracas with the black car has a little slide already. Gets towards the inside here. And moves towards the outside. Fry with a very sudden move. And then sends it onto Caracas, who then in turn hits Zehender. And now Zehender's in the pits. Caracas is still driving after he's gone to the pit, so he's now on the exit. Zehender obviously with more to repair, but that's a long stop for Caracas. And a lot of time loss from that incident as well. So a lot of stuff happening here. Fry sideways once more. Sievert loses down 2 places, and Voigt looking to take 2. Savasa in here as well. That's contact with Sievert. I believe that is once again with Fry. Stuff happening here in the midfield. Voigt gaining 12th place. Fry right behind. Sievert and Savasa still fighting. Small tap there once again with Sievert and Savasa here on the straight. But they're going as is. Voigt up ahead. Fry in 13th. Sievert in 14th. Savasa in 15th. Stemmer and Van Rossum joining in now as well. Van Rossum in that purple-orange car, completing this grid, this train of 6 cars. Meanwhile, Castorino pumping out fastest laps again and again. Fry going defensive, not too defensive. Sievert having a look, trying to see where he can place his car. Knows that he has the speed, but not the pace. Small slide there for Savasa as well, as that is Stemmer making his way on through. Van Rossum trying to do the same, but being blocked off by the white car. Number 16, making sure that he can't go through. Castorino now on the rear of Giraud for 6th place. Up 8 from where he started in 15th. As that reverse grid in effect. If he's smart, he's going to go into the pits sometime soon, because he'll emerge in an empty bit on the track, especially ahead of Caracas, who's part of that incident train, currently in 22nd. Some more drivers are headed towards the pits. Fry and Voigt now fighting, with Fry in 12th, Voigt dropping down 1 spot. Small contact with Sievert there as well. And Wasner, Kolbath close. Thought they were fighting for a position. It looked like they were. Not part of any incident, so there must have been just some clean racing. But some more stuff happening because we're going into the pits. See if anyone goes in. There it is. It's Stemmer in, Koosberg in. And everyone else seems to be staying out. So heads on out to the front now. Kolbath in 2nd place. 1 car ahead of him, Wasner. 1 car behind him, Bellic. And these 3 have been going at it for a while. This has been, I think from the start, it has been these 3. Lindblom is chasing, not gaining. Fotch right behind, this about the same. Is Bellic going to go for a send here on Kolbath on the right-hander. Kolbath a bit wide on the black car. Number 18 holding on to 2nd place. Bellic wants to make that his 2nd place. He's being pushed out to the outside of the track. And Kolbath says this is mine and almost forcefully takes it. Still stays ahead. Castorino up 1 more spot. And Voigt, part of contact from the looks of it, has been sent down. And that's Van Rossum up. Van Rossum trying to recover now, going over the grass. Oh, doesn't want to get another track cut for this one. Might just get that. That is a yellow flag and contact, I believe. Let's see if we can get the replay on this one. Number 16 has Savasa. We see Van Rossum right behind him. Some sliding up ahead. There's a tap. And that's Van Rossum on through. Who's trying to rejoin here. And that's a contact with Van Rossum. Van Rossum going wide. And that's just a one thing after the other. That just keeps on happening. It's nothing short of chaos here at Silverstone. The students will have their hands full. I'm not sure if I can even show the results after this, because not everything is live. Sometimes these incident reviews can be a little bit late. and still change the standings a few hours after they've been released. So if you want to know the standings after the stewards have gone through everything, you should probably recheck in with that tomorrow on the website lofimotorsport.com and find out for yourself. Delphante behind Tadic, trying to make inroads on his rival. That's Castorino, currently in 5th place, but not looking too likely just yet. Tadic will be holding on to this. This is 4th position for P7. Defensive for Tadic. He's got the advantage through these corners at the moment. A little bit wide there, slightly over the line. Should all be fine in terms of limits. Delphante knows this combination, knows that there's a right-hander coming up. That is completely his, up to 7th place. And working to take some more time out of Castorino. He's got 5 seconds to go, which is quite a lot. Going through the traffic as well. I don't think you're safe with pitting anymore. When I said that, it was probably time to pit for Castorino. He still had a lot of space around him to emerge. Currently, with everyone else around him stopping, it's looking more and more likely that he will be emerging out in some way of a back marker, or having to fight through that and not have that clean air. Tadic here being overtaken by Max, and that is, I believe that's Van der Meer in the number 13 car right behind them. Van der Meer part of that incident earlier on in the race. As Kolbath goes in, and Tadic goes in as well. So it's now a look for Castorino to have that second ahead of him to Fudge. Maybe catch a slipstream. The pace is looking phenomenal. At the moment, 157s for Castorino, 58s for Wasner and Bellic, and 57.8 for Fudge. Was keeping up with the pace quite well. Delphante, 58.4. Caracas, 57.3. Currently the fastest man on track. Very close to getting the fastest lap as well. In the previous lap he has done this 57.3, so he is gaining some time. From the looks of it, I was going to compliment a lot of drivers like Hoffman for being up 17 places, but he hasn't stopped yet, and he's the last driver still to stop. Currently first one that has stopped is Lindblom, currently in 15th. There are some drivers ahead of him that are currently trying to exit the pits, so we are looking at Lindblom now going on through. Kolbath is on the out of the pit lane. And there he is, the number 18 car right ahead of him. And this is what I mentioned 20 minutes into the race. And all of these drivers halfway mark. Let's go into the pits. So Lindblom still behind Kolbath. And that is a net 4th position, I believe, for Lindblom. And we'll see after these pits. Wasner and Bellic still have to go in. Same goes for Fudge, Castorino, Giraud, Delphante, Max, Van Rossum, Hoffman, and Kolbath being the first driver out to have stopped. So Castorino maybe looking to stay out for as long as possible. They go into the pits in the last possible. Nope, should just stop saying things. Apparently, I'm wrong all the time. Castorino going in now and having a little look at his stop. Stevens making a move on Swartz. Number 25 Lamborghini gaining a position up to P21, and now it is time for everyone else to make their moves. Delphante is in, Max is in, Van Rossum is in. Hoffman will stay out for one more lap. The top 4, which will become the top 5 once Hoffman passes these pitting cars, are still yet to stop. There it is. Wasner, Bellic, Foch, Giraud, and Hoffman still to stop. It is all on eyes to Castorino. See where he exits, because Lindblom was very close to Kolbath, and they're coming on through right about now. And this is where, around the space that Delphante and Castorino will be exiting. Let's see where they are going to emerge. So Kolbath, the first driver to have stopped. Looking at a little helicopter view here. They're past Van Rossum, past Max, past Delphante. There's Castorino on the outside. of the pit lane. And he will be right in the middle of this. And Kolbath is on the pace, will be passing. And Lindblom taking away the spot from Castorino just barely. But he does have the speed to do so. Koselberg right behind as well. And it's now a four-way fight for that 6th place. But Lindblom, because of this pressure, has lost out on time to Kolbath. Lost out on pace on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's. Now Castorino, a big send, or big look with the small send on the inside, will take away that position from the number 8 car. Good on the brakes as well from Lindblom. We saw that from Castorino. Apologies, Castorino good on the brakes, because we saw Lindblom brake and then Castorino just sending on forwards, meaning that he braked just a tiny bit later. And that means that he braked a lot of distance later, because that's when you go that fast. The shorter, the same distance will be shorter time. So if you go very slowly and you brake half a second later, then it won't be that much of a distance. But if you go very, very fast, then the of course, if you brake then half a second later, it will be a lot more distance later, which is much more impressive. And that's what Castorino did just now with Lindblom right behind him. And of course, braking early will mean that you have a car right in the rear, which is not something that you want to do most likely. Kolbath now, all eyes on him, as we have Giraud, Hoffman and Foch in the pits. Bellick and Wasner, most importantly, yet to stop. They have 5.5 minutes to do so. Kolbath now passing all these guys. And up to 3rd place. Most importantly, Giraud is now going out and exiting in 7th. Foch right behind in 8th. Del Fonte will get past. That's Foch now down to 9th. That was an important move for Del Fonte to get on past. Hasn't had the greatest race so far. He's getting a lot of spots, but his rival currently fighting for a net P3 with Kolbath right ahead of him. So it is looking more and more likely that Kolbath is going to be defending from Castorino for a little bit longer. Bellick is going in. And that's where it gets spicy, because Bellick, Wasner, and Kolbath were in that fight. In the order of Wasner, Kolbath, and Bellick. So now it's all the looks. Let's see where Kolbath will go in. In terms of the order. Wasner is still out. The only driver to have to stop, as Bellick is currently in. So Wasner, the final driver to stop, will solidify everything else in the standings, but I believe he will still have a top 5 spot. So if you see Bellick currently in the pits, Kolbath going on through now in the final part of Sector 3, and Wasner already in the middle part of Sector 2. So there is still a big difference. Kolbath was ahead of Bellick. Is he still, though? We'll see as Bellick is coming on through. Castorino with the fastest lap of the race. There he is, Bellick with the yellow car on the out road of the pits. Will stay ahead, but Kolbath has the speed. Can he get the overtake done now in Maggots and Beckett's, or is the track position just too important here? A small tap between the two. Resulted in a small slowdown. Bellick now being sent off the track after a small tap, and that's Castorino trying to make the most out of it. It's now 3 wide, almost going down the back straight. Kolbath now losing the spot to Castorino already. Bellick still holding on to it, miraculously so, as Castorino's now being sandwiched by these guys, and Lindblom capitalizing on the loss of time. Koselberg trying to get in as well, and Wasner is now in the pits. Wasner has just come into the pits. So you lose about a minute, and he was about a minute ahead, which is what makes this part a little bit scary, because we don't know where he's going to exit. He was leading by a little bit of little bit of time, not too much. Going to see where he ends up in this fight. Bellic holding on to first, Castorino in second, and Kolbath in third in this fight. Lindblom joining in as a fourth, and Koselberg a little bit further behind as a fifth. We don't know where Wasna is going to end up in this fight. Castorino looking for a move around the outside, being pushed all the way wide. And Kolbath is opportunistic, has a look for it. There's the black car on the outside, touches some sand, slows down. That's Lindblom on the inside, making quick work of it and jumping up a place. Wasner is already out. Wasner is already out. And this is the difference in pit stop time. If you do take tires, if you don't, Koselberg has not taken tires. Is about 6 seconds quicker in the pit stop compared to Kolbath and Giraud, about 5 seconds. And that is all due to the fact that Koselberg hasn't taken tires and is currently ahead on track position. Will be joining these guys on pace. But Wasner hasn't taken tires, which means that his 1 second lead has climbed to a 7 second lead. And knowing that the guys behind are fighting, this is probably quite smart, because you're only 10 minutes away from the race end, right? And Castorino has taken tires, Bellic has taken tires from the looks of it at least. Lindblom as well with a longer stop, Kolbath as well. These guys are all fighting and they're losing time. And Wasner with the old tires has to run 5 more laps, which means that he can be a second a lap slower and still win this race, which is absolutely bonkers, if you really think about it. So he's currently caps dropped down to 6 seconds as Wasner's trying to keep his tires up to temperature. A fight going on here for the final top 10 positions. Giraud here in front. Foch and Davante almost equal. And Max right behind. And let's see who takes these spots. This is the fight for 7th place of Giraud. 8th between Delphante and Foch. Foch has the inside line here. Will become the outside. Breaks a little bit hard there as Delphante squeezes on by and takes 8th place away from Foch. A little bit further ahead. Some more fighting. Bellic, Castorino almost side by side through cops. We should see the same action here for Foch and Delphante. Max as well, but doesn't go for it just yet. Tadic fighting with Sievert on the outside. Almost contact on the straight. But there's Savasa also trying to get in. These are 2 white cars. Tadic, the front one, is losing grip. Stemmer is joining in on this battle. There's nothing happening just yet. Castorino now with a look on Bellic. Still holds on. It's getting very, very tight and very, very cautious here. Gotta watch out if you're Castorino, because you've done so much already. You don't want this all to come undone by one wrong move, and he does make it right. Through goes Castorino up to 2nd place. Bellic now under attack from Lindblom, who decides to slot him behind, and that is Castorino up to 2nd place, up 13 spots. 1 more to go, but that's 6.5 seconds ahead. Wasner on old tires, Castorino on new tires, and it's very, very difficult to make this work. He has the pace, but will he have it on these final moments? He's got 1 car behind him that can still attack, and it's Bellic. But he also has Lindblom and Kolbath and Koselberg right behind him. And it looks like Castorino will be able to put up full pace and run away with it on this lap. But it's the pace difference between Wasner and between Castorino that's going to determine who gets the win here. 4 more laps. Wasner just started lap number 17. 7.5 minutes remaining on the previous lap. Castorino 7/10ths quicker. 4 more laps. And we're counting down the times. A quick little appreciation here for Wasner with the strategy. going in and stopping late. Just knowing what the situation behind you is, not going for the gamble. And that's the lead that he has. Look at that, Wasner going on through now. And there is Castorino. There it is. Very, very close. Kolbath here with a look on Lindblom. He's gone defensive on the right-hander. Lindblom holding on to his place. Kolbath trying again on the next one, which is a left-hander. So he's hold the inside, and Lindblom can't get his car touched towards the side of Kolbath. We'll have to slot in behind. Tries to, whoa, with a small tap, sneak in behind to see what he can do. It doesn't look like he can do much. That's Lindblom stuck behind Kolbath. Kruisberg on his way to pick up the pieces, trying to put the pressure on himself. It is getting tight though. Lindblom in 5th. Wants to keep that position. Wants to make it 4th. But it doesn't look like Kolbath is giving up that early. Castorino though, on this lap. We're going to see what the pace difference is between Wasner and Castorino. The gap is now 4 seconds. So Wasner is running out of tire, but let's see what the actual difference is in pace. A 58.6 for Wasner and a 56.9 for Castorino. That's 1.7 seconds on the previous lap. They have 3 laps remaining. Theoretically, it could still happen. Theoretically, Castorino could chase down Wasner and take the victory if Wasner is not careful. Castorino has already gone over the limit. He's pushing as fast as he can. I don't think he's pushed this hard in his life before. There he is. So the gap that we had to Wasner just a moment ago has now been reduced to this. There's almost 2 seconds off already. 3.5 seconds. It's going to be very, very close. I want to see the onboard to see where Wasner is. There he is, right in front of him. Not much longer now, or that will be within a hand's reach. We'll check in with them in on the next lap. As Tadic is looking vulnerable. Savasa with Van Rossum here in P14 and 15 respectively. There's a very late break from the number 16. Gets it stopped in time very luckily. But that was very, very close to being a contact. Van Rossum looking at this, so maybe hoping for it, so we can gain 2 more spots on this second race, where you get a lot of the points. Or as a reminder, 20 minutes race number 1, 40 minutes race number 2. That means that the 40-minute race will hand out a few more points than the 20-minute race. And the drivers know this. There's a lot at play here for race number 2. Van Rossum knows this. So does Savasa, who goes all the way defensive. All the way towards the inside, and Van Rossum was looking to make an offensive move there. Just couldn't get it started because he was being shoved towards the outside. Being shown the wall, not the door. As there's fighting here a little bit further back in the pack. Hoffman and Swartz now trading spots with the number 27 McLaren, getting the advantage of the number 26 Nissan. Lefante very close now behind Kruiselberg. The lead has been reduced to 2 seconds. It's Castorino in second place. It's looking like a countdown. On the last lap, another 1.5 seconds. Wasner has opted for the old tires. Has decided that the new tires were not worth the risk. Thought that it was paying off with that 7-second lead, but Castorino has found the gas pedal, has been pressing it through the floor for these final 4 laps. He's got 1 more to go, 1 more lap. We'll see how much of an inroad he gets on this one. it's bound to be another second and a half, which means that he can catch Wasner. And like I said before, you need to have a pace advantage. That's more than a few tenths. Del Fonte doing that now in Koseberg. A daring send, not a space that you usually enter a move. You usually do that a corner back to set up a sequence, but Del Fonte, the man that he is, absolutely sends it through. Gets up to P6, and I think we should divert all our attention now to the guys ahead. Even though this is close between Koseberg and Forge and Del Fonte still, we should look ahead. The previous lap even quicker. 58.6 for Wasner, 56.8 for Castorino, 1.8 seconds. And look at the difference. We were with them a lap and a half ago. They were miles apart. But now Castorino has got Wasner in his sights. The fight for the victory. Can Castorino repeat what Caracas did last week out? Get the double victory. Race 1 win and the race 2 win. It's very, very close now. The exit is in the hands of Castorino. The inside is being held by Wasner, but the grip is gone. The tires are out, and Wasner knows there's nothing to defend from the new tires. And Castorino sends it around the outside, has the better traction, and with a small love tap, Wasner sends him away to the lead of the race. And Castorino, on the final lap, reaches the point where he gets position 1 to his name. Wasner now has to hold on to second place because that first place is never getting back to him. He will wave goodbye and has to settle for P2 with Bellic joining in right behind, who is also on a second lap quicker pace and might even snatch away that P2. But we'll wait for that for just a moment and admire Castorino's drive. Amadeo Castorino, I think, with everything that I have, this is currently the drive of the day. Caracas did this last week out, won in the Porsche Carrera Cup just a few hours ago, and is now nowhere to be found in the looks of the standings, in 17th. Castorino, and I wanna do the standings after this one. I want to see what happens here, because Amadeo Castorino in the number 7 McLaren does the repeat. Race win in number 1 and race win number 2. Wasner slots in second place with Bellic holding on to third in a masterclass of a situational awareness. Further down, we see Kolbath getting 4th place, Lindblom 5th, Del Fonte in 6th, Fotch in 7th, Koseberg 8th, Max in 9th, Michael Fry holds on to 10th, and everyone else behind now crossing the line as well. But Castorino doing a fantastic job in race 1, in qualifying even, and then in race 1, and then in race number 2. Just writing down the top 5 finishers to see if I can get any of them in the interview room, because everyone knows that if you stay in the ACC for just a little bit too long, your entire PC will be fried. And that's not something that I want to do or want to see for this broadcast. I want us to get that interview with a few drivers, actually. Unsure if we can get that with a few. We might be able to only get 1 or 2. The driver is currently in the waiting room is Wasner in second place for this second race. I want to go into a different order, but it might just mean that we'll have to start with Wasner now, just to fill up the time. So we'll do that in just a moment. I don't think anyone else is going to be joining the waiting room for now. So we'll start our first interview with Sasha Wasner. Wasner, welcome.
Hello.
How was race number 2?
It was interesting. I thought my tires would last longer than they did. But it went well. I mean, P2 is good, and unfortunately Castorino got me in the last lap, but yeah, he's too fast, so I couldn't hold him.
I was looking at the strategy, and I was looking at the drivers that did take tires and didn't. I think I saw a few drivers behind as well not taking tires. I saw your pit stop time very equal with that, about 6 seconds quicker. I saw you have the track advantage, and I thought he's going to be fine. But then I saw the lap difference, and I got scared.
Yeah, the pace drop is very, very harsh here on Silverstone, as it seems.
So P2 was a maximum. Was there a way you could hold on to P1, or was it absolutely over the moment you saw him into the mirrors?
No, I as I saw him in the mirror, I know it was over. I would have let him through if the Lambo gun didn't had a penalty, but the Lambo had a penalty, so I tried to defend it, but it didn't help.
And was the P15 in race number 1, was that strategic to get the pole position, or was it a complete accident?
That was a complete accident because I bottled the qualification in race 1.
Well, I mean, you got a second place in race number 2, and that's where the big points are being handed out. So congrats on the second place. Unfortunately, not first, but in the future, would you have taken, as a retrospective, would you have taken the tires if you were to redo this?
No, it was the right strategy. So I had free track, and I could just go my pace, which wasn't good. And I didn't have to fight, so it was the correct call. This is also the reason why I took the Bentley, because the tires last longer in the Bentley as in other cars. So yeah.
I was thinking you took the Bentley because it's the only right-hand drive, and you were in the UK after all, so you're kind of forced to be on the right-hand drive there. Anyway, good run for P2. Nice try, and we followed it all the way until the end on the broadcast, on the English broadcast. So thanks for giving that entertainment. Congrats on the P2 again, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yep. Goodbye.
So that was Wasner, our second place finisher for race number 2. No one else is waiting in the interview waiting room. I was hoping to speak to some more drivers, namely. I wanted to ask Santama some things about the Porsche Carrera Cup. I want to ask Castorino about his run here as well, from pole to P1 and back from P15 to P1. But driver's not in the media room, and that's unfortunate. But happens sometimes. In any way, we should probably head over to the results of this second race, and these are the results. Castorino up a bunch of spots into P1. Wasner in second place, Kolbath in third, Lindblom and Defante making fourth and fifth. This is of course a after the penalties, because we saw Bellic finish in third place. Had some penalties applied, which dropped him a little bit further back. Standing should be up there as well, so let's take a quick look at that. So the Pro Series, these are weeks counted 6 and races counted 12. Carrera still holding on to position number 1, but Castorino closing in. The gap was about 724 points going into the weekend, and looking at this, it is only 48 points at the halfway mark of the season. Delphante is still within reach, and Fonch as well in fourth, so it's getting real close out in front. I don't think it's too big of a difference, or too wild to think that there are going to be some last minute fights for the championship. So the standings is going to let them roll to position number 60, and then we're going to go over to the schedule, so where we are today and where we're going to be next week out, so where you can expect us the next time. And it should be, from what I remember, because I've seen it twice already today and I keep on forgetting, it should be on to the Nordschleife. So schedule here, currently week number 6 at Silverstone for the Pro Series on the Thursday, and week number 7 we're going on to the Nordschleife on the I think that's the 20th of November. We'll be at the legendary track for week number 7 to kick off the second half of our season 20 on the Pro Series. As a reminder, week 12 on the 25th of December will not be present because that is going to be Christmas, and we will have our Christmas break ourselves. So that means that we have our extra week number 13 on January 3rd, I believe. That will be on Saturday, I think. Unsure. The days are different because, of course, our Thursday will be on January 1st. So that means that we're moving that a few days over. And I should be there for Monza once more. And I believe for week 9 in Suzuka as well at the start of December. So this is the schedule. This is what to look out for the Pro Series. The Porsche Cup is also on this day from PTT Racing. This is on the Thursdays, right before the Pro Series. Currently, week 6, Zandvoort. And next week out, we are at Spa-Francorchamps. So that means that I am also there for Paul Ricard. And I should also be there for the Nordschleife in week 13. I'll have to double check that a few times. But you can join here any time in the week. So that's not a problem anyway. That being said, we have gone through our Porsche Cup, we have gone through our Pro Series, and it is time to close off the broadcast. Thank you all so much for joining and for supporting all the drivers. I've been Olaf, aka Wops Racing. You can find me on wopsracing.com or at @wopsracing on my socials, which are pretty much limited to Instagram and YouTube, which are very inactive nowadays. If you want to follow Low Fuel Motorsport, you can, of course, do that on the Twitch. Hit the follow button, and on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell on both platforms as well, so you get notified whenever we go live with our broadcasts. If you want to race yourself, you can go to lowfuelmotorsport.com, sign up. Maybe we'll see you somewhere in these series soon on the broadcast. You can race with your favorite drivers. So if you've seen some drivers here where you think, wow, these are really good, I want to compete with them. Low Fuel Motorsport's got a very good learning system. You start off with your ELO, you start off with your safety rating, you get dropped with drivers in the same rating, you can learn from everyone around you, and that's always a blast. So thank you once more for joining us. I've been Olaf, and I'll see you again in the next one.